The following is a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. The standings are knotted up at the Sinquefield Cup in St. Louis. Top seed Fabiano Caruana hopes to punch his finals ticket and is making progress, defeating co-leader Alireza Firouzja to join a three-way tie at the top. GCT frontrunner Maxime Vachier-Lagrave was cruising to a win and a share of the lead, but a last-second blunder let his opponent escape with a draw. Contenders keep trading blows. Who can land a knockout and pull away from the pack? Day 4 of exciting chess. Coming up next.
Hello chess fans and welcome to round 4 of Sinquefield Cup. We are here in the perfect place in the Q Boutique shop for all chess fans around the world who can get any chess related item here. It's time to go to the studio and follow the action.
As we head into day 4 of the 2025 Sinquefield Cup, 3 players are still tied at the top. With the halfway point in sight, there is still everything to play for. Our live coverage from St. Louis starts right now. Hello everyone and welcome to our show. I'm your host Nazi Paikidze and I'm here with my amazing co-hosts Yasser, Seirawan and Peter Svidler.
Hello. Peter, brilliant, wonderful. It's just been great working with you both. 3 very, very eventful rounds of the Sinquefield Cup. I got to tell you, yesterday was a big spill by Maxime. He had a completely won position against Levon. We had already put the result aside. It was so over. Nope. Levon came back out of nowhere and he thanked his lucky stars on our interview. Nasi, who's leading the tournament?
Let's have a look. After 3 rounds, we have 3 players sharing first. That's Fabiano Caruana, Levon Aronian, and Praggnanandhaa. And there is a big tie for the 4th place.
And tell us about the format for this year's Sinquefield Cup.
It's a 10-player round-robin event with classical time control. Players are not allowed to offer any draws, and it's a traditional scoring system.
I feel the free day sneaking up on us. Tell us about
it's
the schedule.
Marked on your calendar.
Yes.
We have 2 more days until the rest day. Then players will be back for 4 more rounds. We might see playoffs for the Sinquefield Cup on Wednesday, 27th, and even GCT playoffs the day after that.
Thank you, Nasi. And Peter, how did the players get to the top?
Well, let's take a look. But spoiler alert, everybody won 1 and drew 2, just in a different order. And this is our triumvirate at the top, with Fabi winning yesterday and Levon and Prag still in the tie. We will start with Fabi. And his tournament got off to a somewhat slow start. He drew against Jan-Krzysztof and then he drew against Prag. But yesterday was a massive, massive victory against somebody who is a direct competitor not only for this tournament but also for the Final 4 in Brazil. Alireza led after 2 rounds. And that victory propelled Fabi into that tie for first. Very, very important game yesterday. Then Levon began by winning a very exciting, very messy game with the black pieces against Nodirbek Abdusattorov, and then drew solidly against Sevian, and somewhat less solidly against MVL, was, as we already mentioned, completely busted almost straight out of the opening, then came back, then was busted again, and then somehow survived. 2 out of 3 for Levon. And 2 out of 3 for the young man, Prag here on your screen, currently world number 3 on the live list, having a wondrous year, who began the tournament by winning a very, very emphatic game against Gukesh. Gukesh did not play that game particularly well. He actually agreed with that in our studio when we finally got to talk to him. But still, beating a world champion in that style is always going to be a nice day at the office. And then draws against Fabian Nodirbek. Hard to say who is favored in terms of games left. Prag is playing Sevian with the white pieces today. Right. I guess of the 3 leaders we have, he has the easiest pairings, so to speak.
Easiest.
Yeah.
So easy.
It has to be qualified. There are no marks in this tournament.
Exactly.
Sam has been playing a very, very solid tournament so far. He's on 50%. He could have been on +1. He was more or less completely winning against Wesley, so in round 1. But still, if you had to pick today, at this moment in time, Prague with the white pieces against Sam Sevian is about as soft as games come in this tournament. So maybe he maybe put some emphasis on this one.
Yeah, Prague's victory was one of the most convincing games I've seen the entire year. To handle the world champion as he did was pretty remarkable. Nazi, round 4 coming up. Tell us the pairings.
Let's take a look at all the pairings for round 4. We have Wesley against Alireza Firouzja.
Both players needing a win.
Levon Aronian against Jan-Krzysztof Duda. Gukesh against MVL.
Ooh, another nice matchup.
I think yesterday Gukesh told us their games are always very exciting.
Indeed.
We have Praggnanandhaa against Sam Sevian.
A lot of points between those two.
And Nodirbek Abdusattorov against Fabiano Caruana.
Well, I mean, Nodirbek, can he put together a win? And the players have been fighting hard. What are they fighting for, Nancy?
They're fighting for Grandchester points and for a lot of money. Total prize fund for this event is $350,000. First place winner gets $100,000. Second place, $65,000. Third, $48,000. Just beautiful prizes for everybody. And of course, those Grandchester points will determine who will qualify for the Final 4.
And the playoffs as we get ready for round 4. The players taking their seats in this new tournament staging area.
Such a beautiful blue
Right?
stage.
Yes. And that big room that the players get to pace around in, and they have a view, pretty impressive view of the city, by the way. What Levon is signing is a certificate of authentication. The idea is that the boards and sets get auctioned off and money is raised from these sets, and you can own literally a piece of history. You can purchase the set that Fabi won his round 3 game with, and that can all be done through the House of Staunton. So a big thank you to Sean Sullivan and the people at the House of Staunton that make this program possible.
Those are beautiful chessboards as well.
Exactly.
And here we have the world champion against MVL today. After yesterday's game, MVL against Levon, how do you think he feels today?
Yeah. Sometimes you feel just very empty and you just don't know. Other times you actually feel angry. You know, like, okay, I played really, really well. Now I want to get that half point back. And it can be motivating and it can be deflating. Peter, for yourself, when you let an opponent you really had, you knew you had it. Everybody knows you had it. How do you feel when you have let your prey escape?
The ideal reaction is to try and move past it as fast as possible. It shouldn't prey on your mind for too long. But obviously, ideal reactions are not always possible. Some of us are better at this. Some of us are not as good. I think MVL, and we spoke about this yesterday. The thing that's working in his favor very much is that he is perhaps the one person in the field who can breathe easy in terms of qualification for Brazil. If he still had to fight tooth and nail for his qualifying spot, and he did not beat direct competition, because Levon is also very much in that mix, you know.
Exactly.
So those points count double.
Right.
Then it would have been a very, very painful game. It's probably pretty painful as is.
Right.
But because he is pretty much in, and yeah, this is what the graphic is about. This is the current standings. MVL is very safely up top there on 28.
If all the games from now on were to be drawn, this would be our Final 4.
No.
No.
This
is just the current standings. This is just the current standings. I think if the tournament ended today,
with
Alireza and Prague would swap places.
I see. Yeah.
This is after 3 rounds
I
of
got
this
you.
tournament.
I got you. So that was the before the tournament. This is currently.
Current, yes.
And as you can see, for Levon, this matters a great deal because Levon would have dropped back from his tie for first. MVL would still be quite comfortable, but for Levon, that is a big result.
And we have a bell ringer. I'm not sure. Oh, there it is, Corbin. Corbin, he's the owner of the University Club Tower that we're in, as well as the Coma Coffee shop that we all frequent. I like the cappuccinos. You're the espresso?
I like the lattes.
The latte. I like the name, Coma Coffee, as we are getting ready for round 4.
And we will have him later as our guest for the interview. We can ask him all the questions we want.
Exactly.
Let's listen to Chris making announcements.
Keeping you awake for the games. That's been supplying you with that stuff. So on the sound of the bell, please go ahead and start with spot. Corbin, if you could do us a favor.
Well done. That's a good ring.
That looks like fun.
I'm going to start with a game of Nodirbek and Fabi, only because there's something about this. On paper, Nodirbek has played terribly. He lost his first 2 games. He drew his 3rd. But he's been fighting really, really well in all 3 games. He could easily have had a different result.
Exactly. His results are bad, but his games have been very good.
Absolutely. And yesterday, he really applied some pretty good pressure. And for Fabi, who's coming off a big victory, a very, very big victory, in fact, over Firouzja, this could be a very important game, maybe a turning point for Nodirbek.
And yesterday, Nodirbek told us during the interview that he wasn't feeling confident enough to play for a win.
Yes, with that G2, G4 moment, right.
Do you think he's recovered from that and today he will be back to his normal self?
Let us hope. We definitely want everybody playing at their very best. What was interesting about this move order, and it was something that kind of surprised me, Kevin Spraggett, I'm white in the candidates against Kevin Spraggett. I play knight c3, which everybody does at this point. And then at the board, he decided to play the Dutch, f7, f5, because I had already committed my knight to c3.
I've done that with the black pieces too.
Really?
Yeah.
So you have some special insight along with Kevin. Knight c3, by the way, was Nodirbek's move, and d5, d2, d4, knight f6. Are we going to see a Rogozin by Fabiano?
Well, today is a day of rock solid openings. I'm a bit worried for our sake, frankly, because there's a lot of, this might be a semi-Tarish as well, although Fabi does play the proper Carlsbad. I'm not expecting him to go knight takes d5. Yeah, e takes d5 is better news in that respect, because we have some lines on our screen already, and today is a...
The Caro?
There's 1 Caro and 4 1d4 games, which is a shift from earlier days. There was definitely
E4.
one day when there were 4 1e4 games. But yeah, where do we go? Do we still stick with Fabi? Because
No, wherever you'd
you.
like.
yeah, what I wanted to say is we have one pure Tarash here, in the game
Yeah.
between Levon and Jan-Krzysztof Duda, and these days people play the Tarash. We'll see what Duda does, but in terms of sort of opening meta, people play the so-called Dubov Tarash, which is very often an attempt to make a forced draw. We also have by this point, I kind of want to call it the Nakamura line.
Because guess what?
Yeah, d4, knight f6, knight f3, d5, c4, c5, which existed prior to Hikaru playing, and I actually played this myself a couple of times, but he put it very firmly on the map. D takes c5 is a somewhat new approach, dc5, bishop e3. I haven't seen this done very often, so Gukesh did come prepared and is playing something which is somewhat different to your normal fare against MVL. Interesting position by move 5, but still, these types of positions where there's this immediate conflict in the center often result in the entirety of the center coming off the board, and those positions do tend to be a bit dry. And if we go back to the overview here, a second Tarash here, by the way, in the game between Prague and Sevian, so we have a proper Tarash day today.
But more conventional.
Yeah, the more conventional Tarash. Right. And as I said, Tarash used to be a very dynamic opening. It sort of still is, but it used to be played in the spirit of maybe I will be slightly worse out of the opening, but I will have some piece play, I will, long-term ideas. Whereas now, it has become a bit of a Berlin of 1d4, because it has been investigated really, really deeply, and Black often goes for endgames which are slightly worse but holdable, and does hold them. And in terms of, the excitement levels of the opening, I think we have had more exciting days, specifically in the opening. It might still liven up tremendously. Let's maybe start with the Caro, because it stands aside from everything else we're watching, and also we have some distinguished Caro players in the studio.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a game between Wesley So on the white side against Alireza. Alireza clearly continues going all out for sharp positions, for unbalanced positions. Wesley goes e5, which I guess is still the main move in this position. c6, c5 is a very serious alternative, but bishop e5 is the main line. knight of 3, e6, bishop e2, knight e7, castles h6. Also notably, c6, c5, I think stands quite well currently, and if you want to equalize move by move, you probably play c5. When you play these positions with knight e7 and h6, what you're saying is, I want a full-blooded fight. I probably will not be, strictly speaking, equal out of the opening, but very often all 32 pieces stay on the board until move 20. And those positions are incredibly complicated to play, so we welcome this with open arms. Was this your approach when you...
No, instead of h6, after castles, castles, c5, and I played my match with Spassky, I think Boris actually played a very gentle approach. He played c3.
This is very critical.
Yes. And I went knight on e7 to c6, bishop e3, and away we went from here. And I really felt I had no problems. I'm on the black side of my French with my bishop on f5. What's the problem? But as you were pointing out, c2, c4 is absolutely vital.
And then after knight c6, there are these absolutely
manic
lines, starting with dc5, d4,
right.
a4. I have a very sad story about this line because...
Did you forget your analysis somewhere? No.
In probably my worst ever Olympiad, which I think was my final Olympiad, and I can understand the management, frankly. We were playing the Czech Republic, and I was, I think, white on board too. And I asked the coaching staff, and we had very, very good, hard-working coaches there, to give me a file, because I was playing Laznička, who is a very strong Czech grandmaster. He played this exclusively. You could prepare very deeply, knowing you will get it. And they gave me a huge file on this position I just described. But the thing is, in my own games, I always played knight bd2 in this position, keeping some sort of flexibility, because you can maybe imagine some cases, very strange edge cases, where you can save a tempo by using the f1 square prior to castling. Yeah. But I had this huge file on castle c5, c4, as I mentioned.
Right.
And then I got to the board, and he played knight e7, and I just automatically played knight g2, he played c5, and I thought, why am I not getting the positions I just repeated for an hour? And then it dawned on me that, no, I'm not getting them. Nothing works anymore. And I lost that game with white.
Oh, no.
It cost us the match. And as I mentioned, like I can sort of understand the management not inviting me to play for the national team since then. But no, yeah, back to
another moment. Sorry, I just get this one in. Before h6, another approach I had is, especially when I knew I was playing players like Peter Svidler, who were ready to play c2, c4 against just everything that I might play, I actually played knight c8.
Yeah, this exists.
I mean, and sure enough, I mean, most of my opponents played c4. I took it. I put my knight on b6, and I was very happy with them.
No, I once played c5, c4 on that sharp line.
Yes.
With the black pieces against the former world champion Alexander Kostyanyuk.
Yeah.
And I won that game, but I was lost out completely. It was +3.
Oh, no.
I just got very lucky at the end. So that was the one and only time I played c5.
That was it. That was it.
Since then, I've been playing the h6 line.
First of all, how do they, these two match up with each other? I'm sure they played it. Yeah, there we go. Pretty even.
They've played a lot of Rapid and Blitz, but in Classical, very evenly matched. 5 draws and 2 wins for both of them.
Exactly. This is the game. This is the variation that you've been talking about, Peter. That you might end up with 32 pieces on the board. Queen c7, g5.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
This is still a massive, massive game. There's more than 1,000 games starting from this position, and a vast majority of them begins with knight b3. Other moves do exist, of course. People have played c3, people have played a4. But specifically here, most people play knight b3 to make c5 slightly less attractive, also free up the bishop a little bit. We're not committing to anything. The bishop doesn't really go to e3 very much. It sometimes actually goes to d2, in particular, if a5 and not
a4
a3,
included.
not a3, yeah. Hang on a second. You play a4, and then it might actually be useful for white to play bishop d2, and sometimes maybe even queen e1 in some positions to provoke b6, because this is a square maybe the queen would like to use instead of a pawn. But these are very, very intricate positions. And as Yasser mentioned, black often, and honestly I'm expecting Alireza to do something along these lines, because he clearly, I think his decision very early on, probably before the tournament even started, was to play every single game like it was his last, trying to, at least give himself winning chances with white, black, regardless. Yeah. And in that respect, the idea of playing g5, bishop g7, the bishop maybe drops back, you push for f6 breaks, those positions are very sharp. They're also very committal, because if something like this happens and you don't have a good reply, you will probably be much worse. So you have to know what you're doing. But I think conceptually, I would be expecting something like this from Alireza. I'm not sure if it's going to be this exact move order.
By the way, knight b3,
Yeah, knight b3,
g5 on
I
the
think
board.
this G5 was made popular by Fabiano Caruana, actually. Once he started playing it, then everybody followed, including myself.
Kind of a seal of approval, if you will.
I think I had this against Hikaru once, even maybe 15 years ago. A lot of very strong players tried this on the black side.
Right.
It's a fun line to analyze. Knight e1 is absolutely one of the main moves here. Really kind of directly asking, do you have a good reply to f4? Will you be able to handle f4 happening? Black generally, you can play immediately. Now that the knight sort of departed the fight for the central squares, you can do this. And there used to be this, it's probably been revised, but theory used to get here, and there was this move bishop b4 here, or you could even maybe take on c5 sometimes. There's probably, less than I thought, but there's still 17 games starting from this particular position. Yeah.
Wow.
But Wesley very quickly goes a4, just sort of general useful move in these types of positions. If it gets all the way to a5, it restricts Black's counterplay on the queen side quite a bit.
I lost 3 games in one US championship with a4, a5. I learned to not let their pawn get to a5 the hard way.
Black's main move here is bishop g7, second most popular is a5, third most popular is queen c7. Those are the 3 moves you make in some order very often. Obviously, if you don't play a5 now, you might never get a chance to play a5. This should not be a surprise to Alireza. Alireza, very quickly goes bishop g7, allows a5.
Which was played very quickly as well.
I think it's pretty clear Wesley has not really been shocked by e4, c6 today, because you generally would want to play maybe a little bit slower to make sure you get your bearings properly. But Wesley's prepared.
About these positions, I can say, I remember in Baku, I was the captain of the ladies' team, and I was asked Katja Nemtsova what she was doing, and she said, well, she prepared all day with Robert Hess for her opponent, and she crushed the game on the white side. I mean, big shout out to Robert, who just got married too, by the way, who was our coach for the ladies team and prepped Kate really, really well.
Prep this line with the black pieces in the last round against the Indian team, and I won.
Really? There we go. I mean, a big theoretical battle going on. We'll let this brew. Tell us where else we should be keeping
this
an
is
eye.
the only e4 game we have, right?
Only.
And now we come to the slightly less adventurous fare. Let's begin here. This is Levon against Jan-Krzysztof Duda, and this is why I was kind of worried about the tarashes. Levon decides not to even allow the Dubov tarash, which begins with g3, and then let's just show it on the board once, because we might still get it in the second game. People used to play
bishop e7.
Yeah, people used to play bishop e7 castles here as a matter of course, and then after bishop g5 you have choices. You can play bishop e6, you can play c5, c4. Those positions are also not that bad, but they are risky, and also they are very well established. Like I remember
so much
the Kasparov-Smyslov matches.
Exactly,
and,
Karpov.
Or Karpov. Actually, Kasparov himself played this against Karpov in the World Championship match.
Exactly.
Until he got kind of badly punished for it.
Right.
But mostly through the efforts initially of Daniel Dubov, this is now what everybody does. And the intention is just to give the pawn on d5 up. It's never going to get protected. You can take it pretty much on any move here. After bishop g5, it finally departs from... sorry, that's... hang on. What am I doing wrong?
h6?
Yeah, still... What am I doing wrong? Why is this not what it's supposed to be? Yeah, you play h... No, this is not the position. Why can't I... Today is not my day. So if we get there, we will discuss it again, because I'm blanking on the most basic things about this line, which is, frankly, very
But you started strong, and that was important. The confidence, you know.
Start as you mean to go on, and then don't go on. But dc5, d4 is a whole other line where you see mass simplifications, as in the game, knight a4, black takes on c5, and it's a very temporary piece sacrifice. The piece gets recovered very quickly. There is an argument for playing bishop d2 and d3. Oh, sorry, not bishop d3. This also exists. But queen d2, more or less by force, leads to this endgame, which is obviously, a little bit better for white. you're never entirely equal when white has a bishop pair in a completely open position. But conversely, there's nothing left in the center. Black has no weaknesses, although you might actually generate one just to get one bishop off the board.
Right.
I actually wouldn't mind that at all. I don't know if it's the best move, but it's definitely one of the better moves in the position because I don't think you can tolerate this bishop on c4 for too long. Duda does start with rook d8 for the time being. If bishop c5, I guess you want to put, this is I guess the point. You want to play knight e5 and then you want to play bishop e6 without even ruining the structure. And this is why we played h7, h6. For both reasons, yeah. First of all, this is not mate now.
Yay.
And secondly, if white goes rook a d1 and you play bishop e6, you don't have to worry about knight g5. Also hugely important, because if knight g5 existed here, you would probably be in trouble. Yeah, but it doesn't, and then you're completely fine. You will play rook ac8. You're just totally equal. So, seems like Jan-Krzysztof, I mean, he's above the starting time. Clearly still very much in his prep. I don't know how booked up Levon is about this, because he is also more or less blitzing all of this out. But with white, in a position like this, it's more important to know exactly what you're doing with black. White has a pleasant little edge. Nothing you can do changes that particular equation. You're always going to be a little bit better and not much better. But for black, if you go wrong, that could be a problem. So I think it stands to reason if Jan-Krzysztof is slightly better prepared of the two.
Right.
This should be very level.
Thank you, Peter. And how do these two match up in their head-to-head contests, Nazi?
Let's see the games between Levon and Duda.
Whoa, a little one-sided.
For Levon, 2 wins and 5 draws. So
wow, I didn't see that coming.
It's always uncomfortable to play a player you've never defeated before.
Yes, yes. I had a particular problem with Juan Peter Biasas, a grandmaster from Canada, early in the day. Then it was Walter Brown. Then it was Ulf Anderson. And once you get that first win, then it's like, oh, thank God, you know. But yeah, rook d8, all right, a fight for equality there. I want to go to the game of, nothing has happened. Gukesh.
Not exactly.
The approach with bishop e3, knight c6.
Knight c6.
I'm assuming knight c3?
Oh, probably, yeah. Instead of knight c6, interestingly, for a moment there, it was suggested that maybe queen a5 check is playable with the idea of only meeting queen d2 with knight c6 and playing for this kind of compensation. But maybe, maybe white plays knight c3 anyway. And then after d takes c4, maybe something like knight d2 could be a bit annoying. Even though, yes, at the end of this rather forcing variation, you will lose the right to castle, but so many pieces come off that I don't think this is really a cause for worry. Yeah, the engine goes e2, e3, but then after castles, like, I'm not a believer in black being worse here. Queen a5 check was definitely an option, but MVL has not been surprised by dc5, bishop e3. He played knight 6 very quickly.
How many games in the database in this position?
3 so far.
Only 3.
After bishop e3, only 7. This is a very, very rare reply to the line. Most people do cd5 here, and after she takes d4, the main line, I guess, goes 94, 95 e4 these days, and white has a little bit of a pull after knight f6. You can include bishop b5 check, which is, I think, currently the idea that is slightly more popular. There's also the choice of queen takes d4, queen takes d5, knight c3, where after queen d4, knight d4. Yeah, this is a kind of very, very painful territory, because this is game 4 of my match against Karekin in Baku. But yeah, we did something stupid. We had a very strange, stupid idea in prep, which still holds, but there's absolutely no reason not to play 7 a6 here, which is what Hikaru's been doing with great success. He actually beat Prague in this line in Toronto in 2024. Black, of course, does not start as being better.
No.
You still have to equalize, but Prague kind of overpushed at some point and got punished. But dc5 is much, much rarer.
All right.
So we're in very unexplored territory now.
Thank you, Peter.
Yes, sir. I want to draw your attention to a game between Nodirbek and Fabiano.
I had a feeling coming into the game
interesting
that
pawn structure
something was going to happen, and Nodirbek
it's a pretty
clearly
aggressive play, maybe from the white side.
Right. So bishop g5, h7, h6, bishop here. Again, in my day, everybody wanted to play the move c7, c6, so that they could develop their bishop to f5, and then or c7, c6, knight d7, knight f8, knight g6 was all the rage.
So much theory here. I
It's just
started studying this when I was
exploded.
5 years old, and I'm still not finished.
But bishop g4, this is one. These were considered
Not so
ultra
much.
hyper aggressive. I mean, normally we were trying to equalize with black, and this is sort of like an attempt to. Well, I'm not sure about 98, but attempt to solve your problems by brute force, right? By developing the bishop early. H2, H3, knight back to E8, bishop to G3, bishop to D6.
Interestingly,
oh boy.
there's still a bunch of games. Bishop d3 is rare, but if you look at this position, there's still 10 games starting with knight e5, which does look very logical.
Very.
Just trying to occupy as much of the center as possible. Black could play c7, c5. Really weirdly, my screen suggests knight c6 is playable, a move I would be very hesitant to make.
Right.
But I guess the point is, now bishop takes g3 is a much more serious positional threat. You don't particularly want to do this to your own structure, and maybe if you take on d6, maybe black takes with the pawn and then plays c6, c5 and normalizes their structure this way. I have a feeling c5 is healthier, but dc5, bishop c5, bishop g3 seems to be quite nice for white. But clearly, both players know what they're doing because they're more or less blitzing. Nodirbek has just dipped below the starting time now. And Fabi is also playing very, very fast. Bishop g3, fg, knight d7. Now, structurally, of course, black is completely fine. But what Yasser was talking about just a moment ago, in your classical Carlsbads, this is your poor piece.
Exactly.
You want it on f5.
Right.
You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it to f5. So this becomes a lot more concrete. G4, white, I guess, maybe in some cases you might even go long, but there is a hint of a potential attack on the king side, and Fabi addresses it immediately as you were brought up to
Counterpunch in the center.
If you're being attacked on the flank, you're supposed to launch an immediate counterattack in the center. The engine says it wasn't really necessary. It goes knight d6, castle's short. I guess castling queen side into c5 is not that attractive. And it plays quite slowly. Maybe you do play c5 later, but you don't have to commit to it immediately. But Fabi does play c7, c5 immediately. We're expecting...
He castled long.
He castled... Oh, very
Big
nice.
game for white.
Very nice.
For us,
and
yes.
that's what I mean. Yeah, of course. And I do want to... sort of slightly correct something you said earlier, Nazi. Just a minor correction. Nodirbek just doesn't play for a draw, but what he said in the interview, he didn't say he didn't want to play for a win, but he didn't want to play for a win making committal decisions.
Take any risks.
No longer true to them. No. He's recovered. No, he definitely played for a win yesterday, but he wanted to do it with no risk.
Yes.
Right.
Today he is absolutely ready to assume some risks.
Right.
And the engine hates it. Absolutely hates it. After both rook c8 and knight d6, it just, like, c4, b5 before is happening very soon. And if you take on c5, rook c8 and the knight to e4, like, also your attack is... Like,
There's no g5.
But he played it so fast.
Yeah,
When we
it will
think
place
this is prep,
instantly,
it has to be, right?
Instantly. He's on 129.22
exactly.
on the clock. The engine screams at you if you do this. I'm really very surprised. I guess, and this is also, I mean, I'm reading my screen. I have to, like, very interesting. And suddenly white is better. We've misplayed it already, apparently. Because now h4 is happening, and this is a very important idea, which I think is very missable from the black side. You think g5 is never a threat, you think this is just a pawn.
Right.
You take it, because h4, g4, and the attack fizzles. No. It gets fixed on g5, and then it gets removed.
Wow.
I haven't seen that idea before. It's really nice.
Thank you. I wanted to say the same, that here I am, with a lifetime of experience in that particular sequence of playing g5, followed by g4.
Right.
So the g-pawn is fixed, and I'm forcibly opened up the h-file.
I think the most interesting thing about this game so far is the timing. Because, as I mentioned, at least the initial reaction of this somewhat slow engine is to say this is a huge mistake.
Right.
And Fabi has instantly played rook c8. Fabi is not fazed by any of it.
Right.
Have they both seen this before?
I mean...
Yeah. And now after g5...
I'm thinking of subscribe to our chess cloud engine. Here, we're going to charge you, and we're going to charge you for the same analysis.
Well,
and then the cloud engine.
You're sort of absolutely correct, just removing the nefarious element of it.
Right.
Because people do analyze the same positions. There are topical lines which the top players all look at. And this, in particular, this idea of playing h6 and bishop g4 has been very, very topical recently. A lot of very strong players have started doing this. The idea is to meet, if you play queen b3, which looks very logical, you play knight bd7, and then you go for some c5 breaks. So it's really not impossible that both of them have looked at this before. And just to show how you're supposed to react to g5, you start by c takes d4. You could also keep it in reserve, but the idea is cd4, ed4, you cannot take with the knight because queen takes g5 would actually kill off your entire attack.
Right.
And now we go.
Wow.
And now we go. We give this pawn up to have a tempo to play knight d6.
Wow.
And
The initiative.
bishop is, remember?
Yes, I wanted
Best
it
square
there.
for the bishop?
Yes.
And now after bishop d3,
Yes.
now we can take on g5, because if you play g4, I'm assuming knight e4 is very strong. Yeah, rook e8 was somehow even stronger, but even knight e4, the point being that now that everything is open, like,
Yeah,
you will get mated on the
yeah.
queen side very, very quickly.
Wow.
And therefore, after knight e4, you have to switch to defending, and defending is not going to be fun. Very, very curious about all of this.
If I might say, I'm in White's position. I'm playing after rook c8, king b1. And,
Probably, yeah.
And just saying, please play c4.
But now knight d6, yeah. Now knight d6, and the problem is, after
yes.
g5, with your king on b1,
Bishop
once
f5,
again,
yeah.
if it lands on f5, you're not going to enjoy
so
it very
bishop
much.
h7 check.
We just play king h8, and g8 we are ready to play g6. We're just ready to play
I
g6
can't take
generally.
twice on g6.
Yeah.
No.
No, you have to play very precisely. Interestingly,
very
actually
nice.
g5 remains the best move on my screen, despite the fact that the engine does not like this.
Is it possible at all to take on h6 here? Sacrifice the
A
c3
piece?
knight?
Yeah.
Don't think so.
There's nothing
There's
at
just
all?
no attackers. Like you need pieces around the king. hg knight g7.
You need to play queen h6.
Yeah, like you already need to be playing queen h6 here.
Yeah.
And even that, I have bishop f5 in response.
Right.
Too slow.
Seems to just be a piece. Seems
Wow.
to just be a piece.
Well,
And,
we'll see
yeah.
whose preparation.
We'll see. This is
lands
very
best.
intriguing because we've already seen some gambles, in particular in the rapid and blitz portion, but also I think in some of the classical games. But this appears to be a larger gamble than usual.
Yeah.
Because with the usual disclaimers about the strength of this engine and the fact that you have to let it think for quite a bit before it gets to proper depth, this really does look like you might not equalize. Like you might actually struggle to be okay out of the opening.
And for Nodirbek, I mean, he
probably in last
absolutely
place.
needs a victory.
Of
I mean,
course.
there's no other way of phrasing it. So he's going all out,
But
essentially.
so does Fabi, because we know he needs to finish first to guarantee himself the
That's right.
playoffs in Brazil.
Yep.
And he did play g5,
Yeah.
the top move.
You can't wait, yeah.
Yeah.
And now, this is a very interesting critical point because Fabi needs to realize what the point of g5 is, right?
You're right. G5,
He needs to
HG,
understand what the threat is.
Again, Peter, it's not hyperbole. I mean, that is just a very unusual way of breaking through with a pawn. Has that been in your?
I think both of us have seen similar things before, but not in this structure.
Yeah.
The idea that you need to open the file and you need to kind of absolutely make sure that the pawn cannot escape.
Right.
I'm sure both of us have seen it, but not in the Carlsbads.
Exactly.
Yeah, like not here.
And again, the whole concept being the moment we play h4, open up this h file. I mean, the major pieces land on h8 remarkably quickly. But the problem is usually whenever I play moves like, well, I can't even play h4 with the idea.
not really.
They
close it up.
bypass it. And in this particular case, after rook c8, g, if I
don't
try
have
to
h5,
close it, White's
pawn's
very
very useful
insistent.
here.
The second one comes, and this I don't think this is something. you want
h5 is
to
actually
do.
not horrible,
Right.
but it's much worse than cd4 and b5. h5 is playable with the idea of if you play g4, it's not h4. h4 would be bad now.
Right.
But you can once again just switch to the other side. This is always going to be the one idea black has, but it's very strong. And despite the fact that, of course, this is an improvement.
Blasting open the king side.
There's still something alive on this side of the board, but there's still a very strong counterplay. Yeah, so white actually switches to kind of all-out protection of the queen side for now, but because there are still threats on the king side, this is a very unclear position.
Wow. Great stuff. Good start for this round 4. Nazi, where would you like to take us?
Let's check how Pragg is doing, one of the co-leaders of the event against Sam Sevian.
Pragg started with a huge win to get on the scoreboard in round 1, beating his countryman Gukesh. And this is the this is not a...
No, this is a way to play the Tarrasch, which is neither dc5, d4, nor the Dub of Tarrasch.
Exactly.
Pragg played bishop g5. Pragg played bishop g5 on move 6, which is absolutely something that they do these days to avoid those very forcing lines. But this, I think, is understood to be quite comfortable for black, in particular because the move c5, c4 exists, which Sam immediately played, of course. Bishop e2, castles, rook b8, b3. Really does look like black should be completely fine after b5.
Yeah.
Because generally, if you think about the history of this structure, and once again we have to go for some down the memory lane a little bit. This line used to be quite popular.
Absolutely.
And there are still people who try this with black, but this is the setup that white wants against d5 and c4. The bishop is on g2, generating a lot of pressure against the I should stop doing that. Against the pawn on d5. It supports a potential break of e2, e4. It supports, like if you get to play b2, b3 later, it's a lot more pressure against the long diagonal. Even this is playable for black, but you can understand why you have to be very, very careful. And then you can contrast it with what we have on the board right now. The bishop is on e2, it's completely locked in. You have to take time to get it to good squares.
Square, yeah.
The black knight on e7 is completely unchallenged. It's very important, like all of your pieces that are protecting the d5 pawn are on very, very safe squares. They cannot be traded away. They cannot be pressured in any way. I guess after bc4, you can play e4 and probably equalize on the spot. But after g4, knight e4, I'm expecting what probably ends up happening is that this gets traded for this, and we end up with a very level position. I'm assuming bishop b6 is playable. The engine says bishop g4 is playable with a very simple idea of actually trading down to here. You are very, very little bit worse here with black because this is a strong bishop and you still have to deal with it, but it's not much. Once we start, the knight jumps. So yeah, it feels like what Pragg has done here is he avoided the lines he kind of knew Sam will find it easy to play, in particular those forced lines that I keep on mentioning, but he's not better. And if Sam wants to be adventurous, actually this is playable. I thought this wouldn't be, but we are threatening before followed by c3.
It's 3 versus 1 on the
the engine says, d5. Really, you have to play d5. The knight has to go to a5.
e4?
e4 before, it really likes black. It goes rook b1, b4, and importantly, it gets time because b8 is currently unprotected. It forces you to play before b3, but this secures the knight on c3, which can no longer be shifted. And now you can play e4, now you can play knight e5 is something the engine likes here.
Queen.
It's a very messy position. Obviously, you've assumed a lot of risk because you kind of force black to have a very far advanced passer, but you potentially will have a very beautiful center.
Nice.
So kind of a committal decision here for Sam. I have a feeling b takes c4 equalizes very comfortably. D takes c4 might actually make this into a very, very sharp game.
This is first time that Sam is thinking. Up until now, he's been blitzing, so yeah, he's definitely considering d takes c4.
Nasi, who's going to win the tournament?
Oh, let's take a look at the pie charts.
Absolutely. Ben Underwood, our statistician, has prepared the following charts.
Pre-tournament, Fabiano Caruana was the favorite at 16%. Pragg, Firouzja, Abdusattorov, kind of
It seemed like the whole field was contending.
Of course. And then after day 1, Pragg,
Thanks
Levon.
to his magnificent
They were the only
victory.
2 players who won their games.
Yep.
Fabi was in 3rd. Then after day 2,
With Firouzja.
yeah, it was Pragg, Firouzja, and Aronian.
Yep.
Top 3.
But now with Firouzja losing and Fabi switching places.
They switched places after day 3. which we may not have ready yet.
No, I'm sure we do. Tom just likes to poke us. There, you see.
He's giving us a chance to guess.
Exactly. Yeah, there we go.
Fabi at 26.4.
Now that's just so wrong on so many levels. MVL, if he had won that game against Levon, he wouldn't be sitting at a lousy 5%. He'd be right up there with Levon, closer to 20%. But Fabi now taking the pole position.
Back in the lead, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting that Levon is so far behind Fabi and Pragg.
Yeah.
Considering that he had two blacks in the first 3 rounds.
Right.
So, yeah.
I think what it's not taken into consideration is summer of Levon.
That's true too. I mean, as Levon said, you know, he's got an angel sitting on his shoulders here. I feel like we haven't gone through all the games. Have we really gone through all the games?
We have by now, yeah.
It was just kind of slow. Wesley.
Yeah, Gukesh and MVL are playing very slowly. There's only a couple of
I'm a little bit worried about Levon's game, I have to say. Let's bring this up because
worried in the sense of
it might be disappearing
soon.
After rook d8, Levon played h3, 95, bishop d2, bishop e6, the setup we were talking about, rook ac1. Jan-Krzysztof could have played rook ac8 or a6, but instead he played knight c7, which is also, I think, completely fine. And now after bishop f4, yeah, I think,
you just
how worried are we about, let's say, this?
Absolutely
just not really worried at all, right? We go rook d8.
No. Yeah.
After knight c6, we'll take with the rook, and yes, there's a weakness, but
I'm expecting
you don't really lose these positions.
And there's check, rook e7, rook d1.
Like you can play rook e2, but then we will throw this in. We'll play f6 or king f8, or this should be pretty safe for black, I assume. You're not forced to do it. You're also, I think, completely fine after knight d5, bishop g3. Yeah. But you did kind of develop the bishop from d2 to g3. g3 is probably a slightly better square.
Right.
So I think having played knight c7, I would expect bishop takes c4 here to happen. And I mean, you don't even have a choice. a3 is hanging, so you have to trade the bishops.
Right.
Now, if you don't play knight d4 here, there's no way to even pretend.
Right.
After rook ac8, there is rook ec1, so we are getting actually that position with the pawn on c6. But really, this should be okay. This should be. I mean, from Jan-Krzysztof's point of view, maybe he doesn't want to spoil his structure in any way, shape, or form. Maybe he wants to kind of make a draw even cleaner.
Yeah.
But this has to be pretty much just equal.
True that. And then I was thinking, with the position where you had all 4 rooks on the c file just a moment ago, and after knight d4, go king f8. If I get into a king and pawn game, am I worried about?
Well,
here you lose a pawn.
We lost a pawn to knight d5.
Sorry.
But yeah, let's ask. If all of this happens, it's a draw. But let's make a stupid move. I don't know, 2 stupid moves. Have we lost? Yeah. This we lost.
Right.
If the black king gets to d5, you don't lose. But if you allow this and white plays b4, these are the ones you absolutely. And I think it's also it will be one of my biggest fears. Because if you, with your own hands, you simplify into a pawn ending and then lose that pawn ending.
That's not good.
It's one of the unpleasant feelings in world chess. So, not doing that.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good at all. Losing by your own hand. Yeah, no, not nice. I wanted to go. Pardon me, Wesley.
We had the same thought, Wesley and Alireza.
Yeah, Moroccan players. Yeah, baby.
I want to see how that's going.
All right, what have they done? Very, very big theoretical dispute. We left it literally, I think maybe here. C2, C3 castles, rook E1.
Rook E1 is an interesting move because I kept on mentioning the idea of knight E1 F4. What Wesley does instead, if you look at this position, he is saying, my pieces are on good squares, and I am preparing as well as I can for all of your breaks. You have 2, F7, F6, and C6, C5.
Exactly.
And for both of those, the rook on E1 is kind of useful because, you know, the E file might become relevant.
Open, yeah.
C5 was chosen, and here I think what Wesley has done is the strongest reply. It was kind of counterintuitive to me, but obviously not to him. Either he knows or he is on very good form today. Because I thought, you know, we should be at least slightly better here. You know, you play A6, you play bishop E3, we still keep the ideas of H2, H4 in reserve. We are actually a little bit better here according to the engine, but it's not unplayable. Instead, he went bishop E5. The engine actually suggests C takes d4, a very sad move you don't particularly want to make, developing the knight on b3 to a very gorgeous square.
Right.
May have been stronger, specifically because after c5, I part with bishops with great difficulty. Yeah. But this is incredibly unpleasant for black, because this is a very strong knight. Apparently the only move that makes any sense whatsoever is queen b5. Other squares are much worse. Let's say if you play queen c7 after h4, and this is the point. The knight on c5 is actually very safe. I was wondering if you can make it even safer by including a6 and asking black, do you want it on d6 or do you want it forever on c5 if you don't play b6, right? But the engine says we're not worried about b7, b6 altogether. We play h4. We wait for you to play g4. We play knight h2, h5 f3. And the king side is getting, disassembled. And if you throw in b7, b6 somewhere, after AB, knight a6, or even knight a6 immediately, the knight will come back via the b4 square. We can include bishop g5 to make sure the rook on a1 is protected, so that we're not worried about rook a8. But on the other side of the board, we are getting picked apart. Queen b5 already played, by the way. So the improvement is, if we do exactly the same, the machine says it's time. This is the difference. The machine says we have to be able to sacrifice this exchange, to have f3, queen takes c5 somewhere.
And just threatening knight g6, you might be able to pick up a pawn.
Yeah, so if, let's say, f3, it goes queen c5, bishop b3, queen c7. It's honestly a bit shocking to me this is not worse for black than it is. You are worse, but it's playable, because let's say fg4, this is what it hinges on. h2 is hanging. Otherwise, I think it would have been pretty bad.
Okay.
But this is suddenly pretty good for black, actually, because we win more material back because of the hanging knight on h2.
Yeah. Thank you, Peter. And our producers are having fun as they make a contrast of the two boards. Same amount of time, and here we go. We're going to make a comparison of the two boards.
Bachhaus, and all Levon's pieces are on Wesley's board.
That is actually very good.
The shift. This looks like a couple of my bug house sessions. I'd look over my partner's game and there'd be like a king and a rook, and I suddenly realize that I have like 6 queens in my hand. That is funny. Yeah, the contrast is quite striking.
Quite stark, yeah.
Yeah. c4, bishop takes.
Yeah.
And we do have queen b5.
We do have queen b5. And after queen b5, maybe there can be an argument for including a6. Because knight b7 has become stronger, because knight d6 will come with a massive tempo. And in fact, the engine goes ba6, but rook takes c5 will still happen if we go for h4,
so let's take
g4.
on a6 and keep the knight alive.
But then black stops h4 from happening.
Does it?
Well, not exactly, yeah, but, well, it's an improvement. It's definitely an improvement because, it survives for now, and we do have some counterplay of our own here. Now, this is kind of a mess, even though the screen still likes this for white, but this is nowhere near as bad as some of the positions we were watching earlier.
For me personally, if I'm black and you allow me knight g6, I'm kind of thrilled, because my bishop on f5, that could be a monster bishop patrolling that diagonal, and I do have f6 as a way of chipping away the center.
Yeah, or even g4, h5, kicking the knight away, denying the h4 square.
Exactly.
Giving up the light square bishop and leaving this one alive is a very, very committal thing that Wesley has done.
So it's a strategic risk. I mean, white isn't, it's not just play on one goal. No. And I like the idea, what you were saying, Peter, that in case white plays a6, I'm actually capturing that pawn. I don't want to see that knight transferring on b7 to d6.
No, that would have been bad.
Yeah.
Allowing that. And then we return to our ideas of h4, knight h2,
exactly.
and f3. Now, this is just not very pleasant at all.
No. And I'm also warming up, again, with knight g6. If my knight was on g7, I'm warming up to rook takes c5 in
you can absolutely believe in that. And Alireza has only spent 10 minutes so far. Wesley is also playing quickly, but slightly slower than that.
Yeah.
We have a very exciting game. Let's go, Yasser, back to Nodirbek and Fabiano.
As we've got the g4
that we saw, it's on the board.
Exactly.
It's being displayed in the game. So Fabi did start with the correct move, c takes d4, but then Peter was showing us that black's supposed to play b5 and not react to the g5 pawn at all.
He did capture.
He took it.
A very natural instinct, by the way.
Yeah.
Somehow you just don't allow G takes H6. Right?
And now your b5 play is not fast enough. If you play b5 here, you have actually just straight up lost bishop h7 check and h4.
Which is what white is playing for.
Before hg, bc3, and a very typical way of doing this, bishop g8 followed by queen h7. There are other ways as well. If you want to throw away more pieces, you can go for proper BM here, right? You can do rook h8,
now
rook h1, rook h8, and finally, finally queen h2, queen h7.
Well, if there was a brilliancy prize for business reasons, you'd give up the 2 rooks before playing queen h7 mate.
And black needs to switch to defense, and defense is really not easy. You can play g6, then white throws in king b1 for sort of housekeeping's sake.
H4 is
once again, I keep on trying to figure out why b5 is bad, but now there's nobody on the c file, and we can actually invest some time in not allowing any counterplay, and then h4
I'm
will
sorry,
happen.
Peter, but after g6, why are we taking on g6?
Thank you.
Isn't that just winning?
Yeah, I mean, if I have to play queen f6, I'm not really in love with it. I have to say, the point.
His heart went down. It was like
So, seemingly the best move in the current position is knight df6.
Wow.
Knight takes g5 is strong, but h4 is even stronger. Maybe.
Yeah.
Bishop takes g4 appears to be best. Hg, bishop takes f3.
Pause,
Already we have perpetuals on every move.
At least.
Check. Check from e4 maybe. You have to play bishop h5 because bishop takes h1
is mate.
We lost to, as you said, pieces appear on the h file much faster than you would think.
Right.
So bishop h5 strictly the only move. Gf6, knight f6, bishop f3, g6. If this holds, everything I was ever taught is a lie.
Right.
But it does appear not to be losing by force. I'm very upset about this. Yeah. But first of all, find the sequence of moves. And secondly, I mean, it looks like some kind of a combination of tripling on the h file or playing queen g2, rook dg1 and taking on h5 twice should be made, but apparently it isn't. Let's check this for a second. So in this position, bishop before check we looked at. We can also throw in gf knight f6. Do we actually not have anything stronger? This is a shocker.
I don't believe
this is a shocker, but it appears to be. And once again, I'm not very confident quoting this board, but appears to be worse for black but holdable, which I kind of refuse to believe in, but seems like there's nothing stronger than bishop before bishop f3. And
what if we play bishop f5 check here? What am I missing, Peter? Knight h5.
You can play queen g2 and make an immediate draw, because queen g5 is coming out. You still have both your rook hanging, and queen g5 is about to happen. Now, this is a very messy position, I think.
I'm confused.
But if the computer holds it, it really doesn't tell us very much, because Fabi, I have a feeling, very strong feeling that Fabi missed g4, because had he seen g4, he would not have allowed this.
Right.
And for him to now navigate towards those, like, if this, as it appears correct now, if this is what he is supposed to do, you do not fancy it.
No.
You do not fancy it in a live setting.
And Nazi, for me, thank you, Peter. Nazi, for me, when I look at the difference in the clocks, I'm seeing, I know the whole story.
You know,
what has appeared.
All of that time difference happened after g4. Fabi's been thinking for more than 20 minutes just now.
Just now.
Because he definitely missed this g4 idea.
Exactly. Whereas from Nodirbek's perspective, he's played all of his moves inside of 5 minutes, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, definitely some very skillful preparation.
Yeah, and we were judging it earlier with the long castle.
Yeah.
But it worked out, and this looks like his style of game.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He loves it.
Something I wanted to remark on is, and it really is, I am normally not a proponent of that approach, but in this particular case,
high risk.
No, what I was going to say. He's on 126 on the clock.
Yep.
He's doing this kind of instantly.
Yep.
This is one of those where I would think maybe it actually makes sense to bluff you don't know anything a bit. Because the fact that Fabi actually took on g5 against somebody who's doing all of this instantly is a bit surprising to me, that Fabi only now is starting to think. Because if Nodirbek had like half an hour spent by this point, he would think, okay, this is somebody on tilt who is on -2, who is just like
throwing the pieces,
throwing things at you and hoping you will flinch.
Right.
But against somebody on 128. But yeah, people don't do this anymore. It used to be at least a topic of conversation that, like, if you have a very, very interesting novelty somewhere around move 19, and like, do you want to pretend you haven't repeated anything in the morning, and like, do you want to pretend that you are completely ignorant?
Mind games, right?
Yeah, right. But people, in particular this younger generation, they don't go for those things.
Yeah.
They, like, if I know something, I know something. I'm not pretending.
We know that Engine says here Black can defend this, but from practical standpoint, can we already say Fabi's in trouble?
Oh yes, oh yeah,
All of trouble.
from practice. And take a look at the GCT Tour standings and why this game is the
This
qualification.
is the probabilities.
Ah, thank you.
And you can see this was a pre-tournament. Where is Fabi? 4th, 53.9%.
Right. But thanks
To make it to Brazil.
to
Then it kept changing after round
Round
one,
one.
around 50%. I'm sure now it's much higher because he's co-lead in the event.
right.
First it was 44. And
That's prior to him beating Firouzja.
Yes,
And
now
as you
it
can
should be
see, going all the way to
71%.
71.
But if he goes down today, that's going to change completely.
Especially. Yeah.
Especially if the other rivals win their games or
Yeah.
surpass him at least with the draw.
Yesterday we had some games that were so very meaningful for our playoffs and our teams.
I think that's going to be the case every day.
every day. But I wanted to bring up the GCT Tour standings for Wesley So and Alireza in particular, because it seemed to me both of those two players, you can just see that Wesley, you know, at 19 and a half, he's just a smidge
3 points behind
Pragg.
Alireza.
Alireza, he's in, after that loss, Wesley's looking up and saying, okay, you see how close the fight is and why
very
that game
close
between
race.
Wesley and Alireza today is so critical. I'm bringing up a game of Wesley and Alireza because after Queen B5, we haven't seen, that's the Nodirbek game, but on the analysis board, if you bring up the Wesley game, after Queen B5, Wesley hasn't instantly played A6 or H4, which we thought are the two most salient
He's
moves.
probably just choosing between the
We should
two.
probably go to Levon versus Jan-Krzysztof to watch the handshake.
Is it time?
It is time.
Oh yes, it is.
It is time.
It is very much so. Levon brought his lucky batik shirt today. It's this batik shirt that he won Las Vegas.
Freestyle
Magnus.
chess, yeah.
Yeah, freestyle chess against Magnus. So, I mean, he was looking forward to something special today. He wears it on this special occasion.
I'm guessing maybe Duda surprised him in the opening and just equalized
Yeah.
easily.
I don't think Duda plays the Tarash all that often, and it's possible to just come to the board, get faced with the Tarash and think, okay.
Get surprised.
Yeah,
Right.
okay, I will play something which is extremely solid. If he doesn't know the precise details, maybe I get a pull. If
Otherwise,
not, I get a rest day. And today he gets a
It's
rest
actually
day.
very important to sneak in as many rest days as you can in such long event, right?
Yeah. So for Levon, it means that he's finished. He's in clear first, as his rivals will have to do something. Wesley
Peter told us,
So,
you know, when he saw the first 5 moves, he's like, oh, I'm afraid about that game.
that one.
It was going to be quick.
Yeah, I'm thinking if I'm in Wesley's shoes, I do play A6, but after BA6, I now go the other side, H4.
So you want to do both.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea.
Messing up the
Are you,
structure.
yeah, it gives you the option of taking on a6 later in the same lines that we were discussing. Yeah?
Exactly. How does the chess engine
Let's
do this
ask.
for Wesley?
Let's ask. A6, BA, H4. It does go G4. It basically does the same thing because there's really no particular choice. It takes on C5. It plays H5.
Right.
And now the best move the engine suggests, there's a very close race between this very curious move Queen G2 with the intention of maybe going after the H5 pawn. It's connected though with a very difficult idea to see from afar, I think, because in this position it goes Knight G4, Hg, Queen G5. I think this is very missable. It might never occur to
missed
you.
it.
I'm still not sure what's happening.
We're trying to play
Oh,
H5.
all the
and
way.
Yeah, no, we're winning one of the two.
Let's say Knight of 5.
Knight of 5, H5, G3 is some kind of an equality. White is supposedly better after Queen takes G4, but yeah, by the time these broadcasts are done, I will be the impersonation of the shrug emoji. Like, why is white better here?
I don't get it. We're down a full piece.
No,
Well, no, we got 2 pieces for a rook.
2 pieces for rook and some
All right,
pawns,
okay,
but
okay.
our
Yeah, it's
position.
weird, right? I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah, apparently we are creating serious. Like, we also kind of abandoning a queen side here, just going rook AC1. I don't understand this. Like, I
Black's
would,
king side looks so safe.
yeah, like if I had this with black, my initial reaction in this position would be, how come I don't see an immediate solution that gives me a massive advantage? Apparently, I'm lost. Apparently, this is now lost for black because h6, bishop f6 is a threat. I suspect in some positions even g2, g4 might be a threat. This is a passer maybe in some lines even. But mainly, I think h6 is an unstoppable threat. But yeah, like somewhere here, if you showed me this position and gave me black and just told me, okay, like, what do you think you're supposed to be playing for?
Right.
My first reaction would be, of course, I'm playing for an advantage here with
Right.
black. I have more pieces. Why are you asking me these stupid questions?
Right.
No. Bishop a6 might be the only move that doesn't lose. And a move which I would be very reluctant to make because I don't want to give up this defender. It's a very, okay, this is very good actually.
Yeah.
Wow. But for the time
Great.
being, let's take a break from being excited about this position and do something else for a change.
Well, we have our first result of the day, Nasi.
Yes, it was a quick draw between Levon Aronian and Jan-Krzysztof Duda. We think that Levon was surprised in the opening, was not really prepared for the Taraj.
Right.
He tried the solid opening, but Duda seemed very well prepared, and
Well,
Levon didn't get anything.
yeah,
out of
that's
the
what
opening.
happens when
But we
you
can
play
ask.
a well-prepared opponent.
We can ask all these questions to Duda himself. Jan-Krzysztof, welcome back to the studio. Tell us about your game today and about your prep.
Yeah, it was quick. Actually, I didn't expect, to wrap it up so quickly.
Yeah.
Of course, it's. White has, very slight edge in the end game, but of course, it's nothing in particular, and it's just very solid approach by him, similar to what I did yesterday as well.
Have you played this line before, or did you surprise Levon with it?
No, I've never played it.
Okay.
Probably not even online. So, but I decided, for this tournament to try some new stuff.
Right.
And see how it goes. Just to not to play, Petrov and Berlin all the time, because I played in Dillenburg the other day and I lost, but overall I think it was a good choice, and hopefully I will, surprise more opponents.
Worked out well today?
Yeah.
This is kind of, for me, Duda, that the opening preparation is so deep that sometimes you can just shift, it seems, from the opening to the end game. White has to cooperate too to do that, but the preparation for the top grandmasters of the day is incredible. You have the feeling as well, yeah?
Yeah, of course. If you're playing black and you want to be solid, then you analyze deeply. Levon, made a joke, knight c3 is like a blunder because c5 draws. So, it is what it is. You either play mine lines and it can happen this way, or you play c3 like Fabi did against me, and you are more likely to get the game, I guess.
It's a new tournament hall here. Before we've played World Chess Hall of Fame, we're getting ready to open up the St. Louis Chess Club once again. How do you like the new tournament hall? Is it okay for you?
Yeah, it's very good. Actually, it's my first time here, when there is a summer. It's pretty hot, actually. I didn't expect that, to be honest, because I hadn't checked, beforehand, and because I was here in February, in St. Louis in February, and also in October, I think.
It's cold.
Or November, it's a bit different experience, that's for sure. No, it's fine. Everything is fine.
All right.
And Duda, you're one of the top players who's very active and plays a lot of tournaments with a lot of different formats. How do you feel about classical chess right now?
Well, it's not my favorite time control, that's for sure.
Your preference being for blitz or rapids?
Blitz.
Blitz especially.
And less thinking, the better. I'm not really fond of it, to be honest, and I think it will be like my last tournament for at least several months. So
for classic.
For classic,
I see.
yes. I rejected playing World Cup and also Grand Swiss. So.
Interesting. When you think about the world's greatest players, or at least what I think Magnus Hikaru. When you play those two in Blitz, how do you match up? You look forward to the matches to begin with if you get the chance to play Hikaru, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, they are very strong, very interesting opponents to play against. You know, in Blitz you just play, you don't overthink.
Right.
Usually I get surprised by Magnus, you know, like, usually kind of, you know, prepared to thief with nasty ideas and stuff, obviously. But, yeah, but Blitz is always fun. And no matter how bad your position could be, you know, objectively, it's still like, we're still hoping, you know, for some chances.
Last quick question for you. What is your Blitz rating on chess.com?
I have no idea.
Or
like,
peak, somewhere, what's your best Blitz rating?
like, I think around 3,200. I mean, I'm having right now.
3,200.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but I have never really cared about it, to be honest, too much. Like,
Right.
I guess I could pump it up, you know, if
you tried.
if I tried, yeah,
Right.
a bit at least. But you know, when you play online, it's usually for fun. So.
Absolutely. Duda, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck. I hope you're becoming a frequent guest to our show.
Thank you.
Back
Thank you for
to
joining us.
the games underway. As we've got 4 games, including a huge theoretical battle, and as Wesley.
We should check Fabi's last move.
Ooh,
He did play G6.
And that, I think, we saw Queen G2 and H4
We
against.
also looked at Bishop G6.
Yeah.
And Bishop G6. Uh-oh. I was about
I
to
think
say
he's
that,
preparing Queen F6 after Bishop G6. It's the only response.
that Wesley did play H4, by the way, but I'm going to bring up the game. Actually, you've got it.
Yeah,
Peter.
I've got it here. And as we were saying, there's actually a bunch of things which are very strong for white. Knowing that black's really only source of counterplay involves b5, 96, 94, the slow ways are either starting with king b1 or even starting with queen g2 and saying, this one I would prefer to win over this one.
Okay.
And white appears to be quite significantly better. As mentioned, we can take on f6, on g6. Black probably plays queen f6. We can throw in bishop h7, king g7, put a rook on f1. Once again, black needs to start something on the other side of the board, but after a3, interestingly, it doesn't. Okay, now it does play a5. This is actually sort of playable. Having gotten here, maybe this is an explanation for why bishop takes g6 is not instantly winning, at least. And then we get to those 2 choices I mentioned earlier, first one being king b1. And now we're basically never touching the b5 pawn whatsoever. Like, we're just ignoring it.
This is
Preparing
the
to
one
play
I like
h3, h4.
because it's all about h4 takes g5.
Before simply knight e2. And it feels like we've abandoned our king a little bit, but black also has no attackers on that side. And you are getting mated a lot faster than you would think on the king. Once h4 happens, you will have to forget about the queen side altogether. There will be no time to play something like knight b6, knight c4, queen a5. Like, you will get mated by that time. So this position, depth 18, once again, take it with a grain of salt, plus 2.5.
Only. I just don't even see the defense.
Yeah,
so.
like, you can't stop h4, and once h4 lands, and we're landing it against anything. We're not even taking on g5
No,
here.
just-
h4 is faster.
Absolutely.
So king b1 currently my favorite, and b5 is probably a mistake. You have to start developing pieces, like you play knight d6, maybe with the intention of meeting queen
I
h2,
love that move, by the way.
queen h2 with knight e4, and at least we created some counter threats. This is maybe not that clear. Interestingly, white can do this,
Which I'm always eager.
but we're not losing after king g7. Only king g7. But we're not losing after king g7 because we give ourselves just enough time to
Crazy
play rook
position.
h8. Yeah. And finally, I think Nodirbek has to start thinking, because g6 is maybe not the best move, and also definitely h takes g5 is not the best move. So maybe perhaps his notes say hg5 question mark g4 plus minus, and not very much else.
Yeah.
And he now has to start refuting it over the board.
Wow. Thank you, Peter. And what a Donnybrook brewing here in this one, and one important game for our standings. But we reached that point in our show where we like to check in with our friends at Q Boutique and ask them, please, what's your special of the day? Well, here it is. Your favorite morning beverage. Enjoy it with one of these World Chess Hall of Fame mugs. The mugs are 16 ounces and ceramic and proudly support the World Chess Hall of Fame logo. They are all available at qboutiquestl.com, and if you're anywhere near the Central West End, do stop in and make a selection.
And now let's stop the commentators. Let's take
I'm
it.
anxious to join Peter. In the
Yes, we both are. We both are.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Let's go.
Since its inception, how many unique federations have been represented on the Grand Chess Tour? I'm gonna go with B.
Yeah. 38 seems too many.
Much, 16 too little. So.
Yeah, definitely 16 is too little. Okay, so the idea is we've had people from Russia, we've had people from Uzbekistan, we've had people from
France,
Georgia, France, America. So how many unique players, representatives? I'm going with B as well, 24.
I will try to buck the trend and take 16. I'm not a believer in 38, and somebody has to take 16. Although it feels like it's way too low.
Way too low.
Okay.
Way too low.
We have a chance to catch up with you.
Yes, we do.
Well, as we go to break, Yasser recently sat down for one-on-one with Grandmaster Levon Aronian. Let's take a look and we'll be right back.
Always a good interview, Levon.
Always fun.
Levon, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Levon, really, right now, I feel it. It's almost something magical in the air. Chess is at a golden period. There are fantastic tournaments with really great prize monies. We're living in this era where the schedule is full and it can be even more full. Tell us your perspective on this moment.
Well, if you think back in the time, chess had its rise thanks to Bobby Fischer.
Right.
In the 70s, there was popularity, and then unfortunately he left the game.
Exactly.
And everything.
There was a lull.
Yeah,
there was a long lull.
There was a lull. Then you had the fall of Soviet Union, which kind of created opportunities also. Open up the borders.
Yeah.
If you look at the tournaments in the 90s, it was Linares, Novgorod, Paikidze.
A little bit Tilburg.
Yeah,
that's it.
but it was very empty.
Absolutely.
And some players who were top 10 players, they were struggling.
No question.
Yeah, I think when Ilimjanov came, he brought some money to chess and lots of players. I mean, after this hungry years, lots of players got paid.
Yes.
And it was possible for a lot of people to become professional and stay on float. But I think Grand Chess Tour, helped a lot. I think arrival of Rex towards chess, to chess, and it's been 15 years almost. Yeah, I mean, and that, of course, elevated the chess. Possibilities for a lot of people because once you are in a tour, you don't need any other tournaments.
Exactly. Now it's an economically viable life. Yeah.
But what we have now, I think we have some sort of a slow boom because during the COVID years, a lot of people got into the game.
Online?
Yeah. But it took some time. In some different fields, it happens immediately.
Right.
With us, it's happening slower.
Right.
So I'm very, optimistic about the future of chess.
Also, for women in chess, in my chess career, struggled terribly. Yes. I mean, if the chess professionals were struggling, being a professional woman virtually didn't exist. It was so very, very hard. Now, I'm seeing more opportunities for them as well, and I'm very, very, very happy to witness that more women are being drawn to chess.
I think the change is coming from the, let's say, the fatherland of chess, India.
Yeah.
And when you see, for example, Divya won the World Cup.
Amazing, fantastic, bravo.
And she gets awarded 5-fold of the money of her prize.
Wow.
That sends a great message to
absolutely
young girls.
Yeah.
And that actually, back in the day, you had to have somebody completely nuts like Laszlo Polgar
who is pushing and dedicating his daughters
to bring out such a genius like Judith into this world, you know, and help her to show that women actually can play chess on the same level. Now, I think with the help in India and with the government support, I'm very hopeful we'll have somebody coming close to Judith.
Final question, because I don't think I got a chance to ask this of you. The rise of Gukesh. Was this a surprise for you, and your thoughts about having a world champion at such a tender age of 18?
So, when I was, I think when he was about 12, he was playing in Isle of Man. And we had some kind of after the tournament, you know, people get together, the closing ceremony. And I think he said, oh, let's play a game of Blitz. And I was thinking, okay, this kid, what he wants, you know? And then I've lost the game. I was very embarrassed.
Ooh.
I thought to myself, my God.
Okay, now, let's go.
How can this happen? No, I mean, it was just one game. And, you know, we were like the loser.
Yes.
Losers out.
Yeah, stands up.
And seeing him play so well after such a short time, I realized, there must have been a reason. I mean, of course, it's phenomenal what he has achieved. It's going to be very hard for him to maintain his positions because it's one thing being a talented kid who's fighting and trying to prove himself.
And climb the mountain.
Yes, and it's another thing when people look at you and they really want your blood.
Yes, big target.
And we saw it in his recent event. He played with Duda.
Yes.
Duda ate him alive.
Yeah.
It was, it was crazy. So, it will take him some time to change his style. I think same happened with Fabi. Fabi wasn't good in Blitz and Rapid. Then he kind of adjusted and he learned. It took him about maybe 4 or 5 years.
Great. My absolutely final question, I'll let you go. The Grand Chess Tour features Blitz, Rapids, classical chess. Your favorite format?
I love the Rapid, I think. Rapid is my favorite.
That's the hardest to master because at times you're playing like Blitz and other times you want it to be closer to classical so you can think about your decision.
I love playing classical chess, absolutely love. But the state the game is in, with the openings being too developed, I would rather prefer to play classical chess 960, to be totally frank.
Right.
Blitz, I love to, but I cannot take it too seriously.
Right.
I don't get sad when I lose in Blitz.
Right.
Well, the Rapid is kind of, it still has some seriousness to it,
Levon Aronian, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Stand by for an historic month at the St. Louis Chess Club, from Garry Kasparov's return to the national championships, as well as a global super tournament. October represents an unprecedented celebration of chess, cementing St. Louis as the chess capital of the United States and a world leader in the game.
This October, the St. Louis Chess Club will unveil an expanded 30,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility featuring a tournament hall, classrooms, a chess-themed restaurant, and cutting-edge broadcast technology, cementing the club's role as the premier global hub for chess.
On October 8th, the reopening kicks off with a 5-day, once-in-a-generation clash between two world champions, Garry Kasparov and Viswanathan Anand. It's a battle for $144,000 in a Chess 960 exhibition match. It's an event that honors chess history while launching a new era in St. Louis.
Starting October 12th, the newly renovated Chess Club will host one of America's most prestigious tournaments, the U.S. and U.S. Women's Championships. 24 elite players will compete for more than $400,000 in prizes. The opening ceremonies will also honor new inductees into both the U.S. and World Chess Halls of Fame, adding to this historic moment.
The month culminates with the world's top 4 stars, Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru Nakamura, Fabiano Caruana, and world champion Gukesh Dommaraju in the highest rated tournament of the year, Clutch Chess Champions Showdown. With more than $400,000 in prizes and an innovative escalating scoring format, fans can expect drama until the very last round.
Plan your October around this historic month, coming to you from the newly remodeled St. Louis Chess Club, bringing you the best in chess from the home of chess in America. See you in October.
Welcome back, everyone. We have a very special guest in the studio, the owner of this beautiful building that we work in, Corbin Holtzman.
How you doing?
Welcome, Corbin.
Glad to be here.
I know. It was so fun when I came first to this building. I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was a nice office tower. But then I discovered there were many broadcasters and podcasters as well. Tell us a little bit of the history of the building.
Yeah.
And how that came to be.
Family-owned and operated building, and G17 is an event space inside of here. And then studio.
All the parties that go on?
Yeah. It was a great amenity to the building. And then just things like this started to pick up. And so the sentiment and being valuable to the building, but also to people outside of it, centrally located in St. Louis, just kept it alive, and we're excited to be here.
Wonderful.
How is it for you hosting such a prestigious chess event? Do you enjoy it?
It is nerve-wracking. My wife knows I'm nervous, so she's calling me. She's the only one on emergency bypass. What are the odds?
What are the odds?
It is nerve-wracking. I mean, when you get in the elevator, you guys have I'm like, there's a grandmaster in the elevator right now. And you know, the shows have come out, and chess, what you guys have done to it, it is definitely more relevant. And the Central West End, it's beautiful, and the new place, we're all excited to see it. But yeah, it's exciting.
And for me, the great fun was coming in at the very bottom. You have the coma coffee. I just love the name, Coma Coffee. Am I going to go into a coma because of the coffee, or is the coffee going to bring me out of my coma? Yeah. How did Coma Coffee come into being?
Yeah, Coma comes from Corbin, my name, and then my sister Macy. So we did the brotherly sister teamed up together, and again, it was something driven by the building, and then just in meeting people and exploring specialty coffee, we started roasting our own coffee, and people started to like it more and more, and so we really hung on to specialty coffee, and from there it's just been, how special can we continue to make it?
Yeah. Our entire team enjoys coffee every day from this place.
You've been supplying it to the players as well, as we get a view from the playing hall. That's the snacks. And the coma has a very, very prominent place, I assure you. I mean, we come in the morning, the first thing we do.
Look for the coffee.
We go right for the coffee. It's great stuff.
I'm glad you enjoy it.
I have to ask you, do you play chess yourself?
I grew up playing chess. Currently a little intimidated by what I just experienced. Casual play, definitely, but in like elementary school, middle school, I had the little magnetic game piece inside my pocket, and we would all play for candy and try and take everybody's candy away.
Oh, wow.
But definitely grew up with it, yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
My goodness. But you never pursued it. It just kind of stayed a little bit in the background.
Yeah, I never knew what it could be, and learning that was definitely, I went more for adrenaline sports and hockey, and after stepping inside that room, it is certainly an adrenaline sport, and I'm still a little shaken from seeing Sam walk away and looking and being like, oh my gosh. And so he goes back and takes his next play, and I was really overwhelmed by the interaction and the amount of intensity in one intimate room. It was really nice to see.
Corbin, thank you so much for your hospitality. Seriously, I mean, it's so greatly appreciated by the staff, by the players, by the broadcasters. Very important. Think about the broadcasters, and thank you again.
Share. Thank you.
All right. Stump the Masters. Did I win? Did I win? I mean, that's all we want to know.
Let's repeat the question. So, since its inception, how many unique federations have been represented on the Grand Chess Tour? Yasser and I went with 24. Peter goes with 16.
I chose to lose, yeah.
Yeah, you chose to lose.
Or to win, we'll see.
To win.
We'll see.
But 16.
The moment of truth.
Uh-oh.
I'm
Drum roll.
holding my breath.
I know.
And we win. Yes!
We're all tied.
We're all tied now.
Or should I say, I'm in first and you two are next to last?
Absolutely. That is what
But
you should
he let
say.
us win, honestly.
Yeah, I know.
I
I think, yeah, he was ready to go with 20.
That was one of the on the easier side because 38 is unrealistic and 16 feels lowish.
Yeah.
Might be the
how
easiest question we've had so far.
Yeah.
If it had been 20, 24, 26.
Yeah.
That would have been a trick question.
With a tighter range, it would have been a much harder question.
Yeah. Well,
we appreciate actually letting us off
a little layup.
for now.
Giving us an easy one.
In the meanwhile, after Fabi's G6, I love that idea of Queen G2 and H4. No. Nodirbek went for the most direct bishop takes G6,
It's kind of
which
hard
is
to
what
resist when G6
I mean.
is hanging.
He put a pawn on pre, and
This is a mess now.
Was this favored by the computer?
No, I think once again, I think it's a position which you probably, if white gets there, in a lot of lines you will have to sacrifice quite a lot of material, perhaps ignore b5 before b takes c3, which means that this engine, which is slow to gather its pace, might actually be, well, not telling you the whole truth very, very early on, but it appears to be that Fabi is more alive now than he maybe would have been after king b1 or queen g2. Because you are kind of supposed to play bishop h7 check. If you play bishop f5, once again, black finally gets started on the one source of counterplay that we keep on mentioning. King b1, interestingly, before allows knight takes d5. You can still play it though. Bishop takes d5, queen takes c8. You can play bishop takes f3, win the exchange back, but you do lose the knight on d7. You're slightly worse. But you can play knight d6. Okay. In the resulting positions, the bishop is now hanging, also b5, b4 is a threat, so probably you do this, probably you do this, because there's queen g6 check in the end if you take twice. But after, for instance, knight b6, rook hf1, queen g7, this no longer looks like a disaster for black. We've stabilized, we're about to play knight bc4, our king is somewhat safe with the king in front, with the queen in front of it, so yes, you probably pick white because this is a gorgeous knight, and of course this king is still less safe than this one, but it's an improvement. So bishop h7, king g7, now your knight is hanging, you are supposed to protect it somehow. I guess rook df1 is by far the most natural. But this is not nothing. There are so many pieces on the c-file. b5, b4 is a very serious source of counterplay. For some reason, it's important for white to include a3, a5.
Okay.
I don't know why this is stronger than with the pawn, but we're going to ignore it for now.
H4.
And now we go.
That was my
H4, b4.
Take.
In some order, we do this.
Yep.
Black takes on c3.
Yep.
We play bishop f5. By the way, if not bishop f5, we are worse here with white. So there's actually risk attached to it now.
I'll believe you.
Bishop f5.
But we are now threatening bishop
and
e6
actually,
and queen
even
e7.
after bishop f5, having given the engine some time to think.
I saw the bar going down.
Yeah, it goes c takes b2, queen takes c8. It goes knight c7.
What is
and
that?
C7.
And says the queen has no squares. Rook h7 check is just one check. You can actually throw it in, but it does nothing because the rook on f8 is protected. This doesn't, like you can't.
That's not me.
You would like to play queen takes f8 here, but it does not very much.
But without rook h7 check, let's just move the queen.
Yeah.
Why are we lost?
Because we're getting mated on this side.
Oh, the knight comes in so quickly.
Yeah. Weirdly, we're just getting mated on the queen side. It happens fast enough that you can't, like I thought maybe king a2, but after king a2 it goes queen e3, and now it does look like you're getting mated.
Yeah.
Because this is still only one check.
Yeah.
Weirdly, it looks like this king is extremely safe, but it's only one check in all of these positions. So I think this is absolutely a new lease on life for Fabi, and if Nodirbek goes for what I think naturally appears to be maybe the sharpest, the most pressing line from here, as we've seen, one wrong step and you might be in a lot of trouble. So, yes, seems like bishop takes g6, and it's so difficult not to play it, right? It's a free pawn in front of your opponent's king. But getting stuff away from the c-file may have been just much stronger. My first line on the screen right now is king b1, knight d6, and you guys will very much enjoy this, king a1.
Sure.
We just want to be safe. Yeah. We just want to be safe. This will get picked up somehow. We just want to be safe. But yeah, completely different situation on the board. I guess if he chooses bishop f5, there's a lot more control. It's much harder for black to actually generate like winning attacks. But it's also much more difficult for white to launch something on the king side. So a very important turning point in this game right now. Nodirbek calculating, he already took 25 minutes, I want to say, on bishop takes, maybe 20, and is now deep in thought after queen f6. But yeah, this is a mess now.
Thank you. And again, a very critical game for Fabi and his chances as we just take another look at what
Road
is
to the finals.
path. Yeah, yeah.
If Fabi doesn't want to be dependent on any other players here, he must finish first to qualify for the Final Four.
Currently tied for first, but tied with two others. And
there's still a lot of a lot of rounds to go.
Exactly, and this is their road to Brazil. And I you know, again, hindsight's 2020, but I'm thinking when I saw this whole G5 followed by G4 followed by H4, it was like, you sign me up. I just love that whole concept. So for me, the idea of King B1, Queen G2, not necessarily even Queen D2, but Queen G2, followed by H4, just protecting the, I mean, I've pre-moved, 3 turns in a row.
Yes.
I'm going to go King B1, Queen G2, and H4.
You wouldn't even get tempted with.
I wouldn't even get tempted because I just know how powerful the attack is going to be once the H file is ripped open, and if Black can't stop White from achieving that. I mean, Peter has been feeding his lines with Knight D6 and B5.
I just checked something about Knight D6, and
yes.
Once again, it is so regrettable that I can't. I would like to tell our viewers the truth and nothing but the truth, but this is very curious. I thought, okay, King A1 is very good for a laugh, but what happens if we just go H4?
Right.
And it feels like maybe you have to even throw in Bishop takes C3, Rook takes C3, and then take on G4, because, and now after Queen G2, maybe you're worse, but it's still game on. But I wanted to play Bishop takes G4.
Right.
And here, after H takes G, Bishop takes F3, Queen H2. As mentioned, we can give as many of these away as we want if we land on H7.
Right.
Bishop H5 only move.
Right. Bishop H2. Not even Queen takes D6.
No. We want this one away.
Yeah.
And currently, the best Black has appears to be takes on Knight F5 and Queen C7, desperately trying to get the Queen away from the H file.
Right.
But Black is just worse even in endgames here.
Yeah.
Knight takes D5, Rook C6, let's say Bishop F3 or Bishop G. Bishop F3 is, for some reason, stronger than Bishop
G4 has it.
Yeah, and then we continue actually playing for mate.
Right.
This is still a very dangerous position for Black. So, including King B1, and then having secured that one bit of the position, just going all out, I think was, and in practical terms, I think would have been much harder for Fabi to deal with.
Phase.
Yeah, but yeah, we're not there anymore.
In a sense, Bishop takes G6, Queen to G6 has given Fabi a clear indication of what he's got to do. I mean, and for Nodirbek, the line that Peter was sharing, check and Bishop F5, it felt like Fabi was getting back in the game.
Absolutely,
with the
full
B5, B5, Knight D6, Knight B6 stuff, and clock times. One time, Nodirbek had a significant edge. He had played all of his
5-minute time difference.
So he went from
He took
a
a
30
lot of
minutes.
time deciding whether to take on G6 or not.
Right.
And then since then, he's also been thinking a lot after Queen F6.
Gotcha. Peter, we've had a big theoretical dispute going on between Wesley and Alireza.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to switch to.
Please.
After Queen B5, Wesley did take some time, but did go for a very critical idea of H4, G4, Knight H2, as we were discussing.
Yep.
The engine was suggesting it's cleaner to take on C5 first and then play H5. Instead, Alireza played H5 straight away. And here my question was, and I saw the screen suggested, F3, Rook takes C5, the position after DC we had, but we do have this additional option of F takes G4.
Okay.
Against which, apparently, HG DC5 is just really, really bad because this pawn falls, or the knight lands on G4 very quickly, stabilizing the white setup, threatening Knight F6 check. This is horrible. So the engine suggests the only move here is Bishop B4.
That's a cute
DC5,
move.
Bishop takes C5.
Look at
Going
those
after the
bishops.
central pawns as quickly as possible. But it doesn't like it. After Knight F3, appears to want to play Bishop G3, but even Knight G5, like very, very concrete, very tempo-oriented play from White. But the resulting positions appear to be quite dangerous for Black. Instead, Wesley went for a much more controlled move. He went Knight F1, and Alireza here, he could have just played Bishop G6 and played slowly, but I don't think it's in his nature to play slowly, so he gives up this exchange anyway and plays Knight C6. You should probably expect Knight G3, Bishop G6, and here our old friend comes back. white is actually worse, if not for the idea of queen d2, queen g5.
That's hidden.
Yeah, knight takes e5, and in this position you go knight h5, bishop h5, rook e5.
Are we back to that sacrifice?
No, that's a different position.
Very similar though, knight h5.
But it is similar, yeah. And we sacrifice on h5, on e5. Black has to take. We give this check. Black has to play bishop g7. We take on h5. You probably throw in g3, because if you play queen c5, queen g4, this looks horrible.
Right. Yeah.
You would much rather at least spoil the white structure on the king side.
Right.
Fg, queen takes e5, king h2. Importantly, we have queen f2. Bishop h6, maybe. White is pressing, but the engine says maybe we hold the endgame of the queen f5. It's not going to be a pleasant endgame, but maybe we hold it.
Why does every position in modern chess today seem to hang in these incredibly narrow valleys that continue endlessly?
Maybe every position is an overstatement, but we are really not
double-edged.
Yeah.
Every game.
Players are really entertaining us today,
and queen d2.
At least in some of the games.
I mean, it's so unusual to put the queen in front of the bishop.
You actually worse if you don't do it as well, because, and this I think is very easily imaginable. If you imagine black taking on e5 for free and landing it on d3,
forget about it.
You are in a lot of trouble. So it's really not a surprise that you have to do something very, very specific.
But also the combination of queen d2. Knight takes e5. Knight takes
h5.
h5.
Because, yeah, and just to show our viewers, if you start with queen g5, the problem is it gets immediately kicked back with f6, and you have to go back, and then the knight will eventually land on d3, and that's not good at all.
Right.
So yeah, very sharp position in which Wesley, but we know Wesley can do these things, and this is a speech I've given in these shows before, but I do feel kind of strongly about this. I wish more people forced Wesley to play games of chess.
Right.
Because he is a tremendous player.
When he's
When you absolutely force him to play a double-edged position.
Right.
He is a force of nature. Yeah. It's just that he limits himself. He likes controlling his destiny to such a degree that we very often get games like we got a couple of days in a row here, where like he comes and asks a small question with white. The question gets answered, and everybody goes home. Yeah. Today Alireza gave him no option to do that, and he's playing a very good game. He's playing ambitiously. He's clearly trying to get an advantage and to play for a win, and he is extremely good at that. So I would like to see more of that, to be honest.
It's actually very funny. I was a big fan of Boris Spassky, still am, and so many times Boris Spassky was making quiet draws with his colleagues, and it was like, no, I want to play the Boris Spassky, so I'd drag him into a fight, and he beat me up. It was sort of like when Boris was absolutely forced to fight, he had no choice. That's it, live or die.
Yeah.
More often than not, he got you before you got him.
Yeah, I remember, I haven't played him much, obviously. The age difference was quite significant. But we played in I believe in 2001.
You and Wesley?
Me and Boris.
Boris Spassky.
No, I played Wesley plenty.
Yeah.
It was, I believe, 70th birthday of Victor. And there was a tournament in Zurich, which I got invited to because Victor, for reasons unexplained, seemed to like me.
All right.
We played for the same club for a number of years, but yeah, I was, I guess, the one representative of my generation in that tournament. And I played black against Boris, and I did something fancy in the opening, just to, why not?
Right.
I mean, I'm in the prime of my powers. I'm like 25 or something, and he's Boris, obviously Boris, but he was not very young by that point already. Right. Things he did to me are unmentionable on air. Right. It was like, you give him a sniff, and also like you indicate that you actually want a game of chess.
Right.
And then you better be prepared for a game of chess.
You're gonna get it.
It was very, very painful.
I've been in that in your shoes, and I want to, again, a super sharp game going on between Nodirbek and Fabi. Let's turn our attention to that. We do have bishop h7 check, king g7 was played, and then,
rook f1.
Very importantly, no bishop f5. I'm all about playing h3, h4 as soon as possible. There's a small problem.
the knight on f3 is hanging. I thought we were withdrawing the bishop. The idea is we want to eventually play rook h7, right? So we kind of think the bishop is in the way. We want to play h4. We don't want to lose our knight. Nodirbek decided that he was going to play rook f1.
This is the line where we're just
looking.
watching.
Yeah, and then came b5.
You know what? I am very curious about this because, well, it's been a while, and I'm assuming this engine, as these engines generally do, they hash what you've already looked at. So it should give you a slightly clearer picture. It's still giving me the same line and saying plus 0.35, but it's the line that we know loses. It's just, I think, currently so far beyond the horizon of what it sees that it hasn't realized yet. I'm wondering if Nodirbek is not in trouble. Because it keeps suggesting going a3, a5, h4, and allowing all these things. Like, this is still on my screen as best for white, but we know this loses.
Yeah.
Bishop f5.
Yeah.
Well,
and now I think it will dawn on it. But yeah, and now it's starting to bottom out.
Yeah.
So black is better. It keeps on suggesting this is best play for white. So I am very curious how we bail out. Like, I'm currently unsure if we have a bailout.
No, we need to ask VAR. He has a better computer.
We should probably talk to VAR about this.
So once again, if you don't mind, a3, a5, h4, b4.
Well, we have played h4.
Of course.
You can start with this. It's still the same.
It's
position.
The same. Yeah.
It's still the same position.
Okay. Yeah.
a3, a5, king b1. We're told might
What's
still
the evaluation?
Be okay.
Is our question? Is black much better already?
But it's the same line.
Okay.
We need to actually properly talk to VAR about this because it appears to be the same line.
Let's go concretely once more time. H4, c takes b2, h takes g5, queen f4.
Maybe something here.
Bishop f5. You took on b2, right?
Yeah. The engine currently gives me something which might be hopeful with the move knight e5.
That's a tempo.
But allowing queen g2, like, I don't think anybody does this in a real game. It says rook f2, queen c2, bishop takes c2, and I'm assuming knight e5, rook h7, check, king g8, d takes e5. We will have some kind of perpetual. There's enough counter. Like, once again, we're a piece down here, and currently not threatening a check. But I can't believe this being okay for white because rook f2 is a massive, massive threat.
Right.
And instead it goes rook h8, and maybe we don't lose this endgame. But honestly,
this is not what we played.
But honestly, this is not what we played for.
No.
So yeah, I am currently awaiting input from VAR because I can't really. This board is not really providing me enough guidance.
Okay, I still want to get. And VAR is saying black is better after waiting. Once again, for your a3, a5, h4, b4, take on g5, check. King
have to play king b1,
takes
b takes
over.
c3.
Bishop f5, you took
and then
on
suddenly
b2.
c takes b2.
Okay, now.
And what I want to say is, I think if they get here, I think Fabi is likely to at least consider c takes b2.
Right.
Notably, there are no winning threats. Rook h8 holds, rook b8 holds. It's not like cb2 is the only move that doesn't lose. We actually aren't even playing this for a win, so to speak, with white, because after, let's say, rook b8 forces b3, and then the engine goes knight d6. I'm assuming with the intention of playing rook takes b3 and rook b8 if you take on e6, because otherwise I don't know what we're doing. Yeah. Rook b3, and we've actually took all the sting out of the attack on the king side and are now back to being completely winning.
Right.
So this is also fine. And the way to make a draw here is actually not that tricky. You just double on the H file and give some kind of a perpetual, I assume. This is.
I've been trying to do this for some time, but I'm not trying to give a perpetual.
Trying to checkmate?
I'm trying to checkmate. Why do you say?
Which position do you want back? This one?
Yeah, for example.
Knight f5. There will be a bishop on f5.
There will be.
I have the g6 square.
You have king g6, yeah.
Yeah, I have g6 square, but you do have because g5 is not hanging, because the knight is still supporting the pawn on g5.
Right.
We always have this perpetual. But we're not really giving mate. And we've given up so much material that we rook takes b3 is so much.
Instead of last move knight h4 check. Rook h5.
King g4. Or
no, we run back.
No, king g4
would be a problem, but we run back towards it.
Right. Now, yeah.
Okay, the position with c takes b2. C takes b2. Peter,
yeah.
Rook h7 check.
Yeah, we can throw this in.
And rook h1. This was the checkmate. If you take my queen.
You're not ready for that move. I saw it coming. Oof.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this trades everything away, and you're like 65 pieces down at the end.
No. Even after king a2, like take my queen, please. b1 equals queen. Oh. Wow.
VAR is now saying maybe not include h3. Maybe try
h4.
this.
Okay.
Before, and we have the same position where maybe, okay, now, weirdly, now knight h4 appears on our screen, which wasn't available for some reason with a3, a5 included. Knight h4, queen takes g5, knight f5 check. You have to take, white takes. And okay, we're a full piece down currently, but d7 is hanging. There are still some threats along the h-file. The engine says knight f6, bishop takes d7, rook b8.
Okay, this
Prefers
is
black.
a little bit of a
Prefers black, but maybe, and this is maybe why we haven't included a3, a5, so that this structure is slightly more solid.
Yeah.
This is always fun when you're analyzing some kind of opposition and you try to determine what the difference is between including something which seems irrelevant or not including something which still seems irrelevant. And then you finally get to a position where you think, maybe this is the reason.
Right.
Yeah. Prefers black because the attack is more or less gone. All of these threats are annoying, endgames are annoying, rook h8 is coming, but maybe holds it.
Chess is hard.
Oh, yeah.
And it is a mess.
Chess is not an easy game. And on the topic of chess being hard, but these players being good, Wesley did play knight g3, queen d2.
Nice.
Wow. Wow. Some great stuff going on, Nasi.
A game we haven't checked in a while, Gukesh MVL.
Yeah.
They're playing this endgame with a lot of minor pieces. Not a lot.
Yeah, it came out of this very unusual approach by Gukesh, featuring the move bishop e3, which is not a popular move in our database. And MVL answered the call very, very well. It was this move knight d5 in particular. This pawn on c5 and the pawns on c4 seem vulnerable, but this move knight d5 in particular just really freed MVL's game. And maybe this move is a little bit wrong. G3 or knight d4,
Yeah.
but it was E4, and I was expecting king e7 by MVL at this moment.
He wants
The
to keep the
bishop
bishop
d7,
on the board.
and it just felt like black had a very comfortable game.
Still
A
seems
moment
that way.
as we, as we came on before
believe
Corbin.
MVL wants to play c3.
Yes.
Or maybe rook a5 followed by c3. I was wondering if that's maybe a slightly better version. You absolutely do want to play c3, I agree wholeheartedly, but forcing the rook to a1 might be useful.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And white can avoid c3, we just have to prepare for it. What's the best way to do that? Maybe rook d2?
Okay, but from
and then the other one at least can go to a1.
Yeah, from my point of view, if I'm in MVL's shoes, I'm feeling great. We have an imbalance. You have a kingside pawn majority. I have a queenside pawn majority. Whose pawn majority is
Moving?
moving?
Blacks, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And whether I'm playing c3 immediately or not, I feel like I'm the one enjoying.
This shouldn't be too bad yet, frankly.
You
King
can
f2,
still
rook
start
hd1.
pushing b5 and start to create another pass pawn.
Right.
And white pawns are not moving. I don't have f4, e5.
e1 chosen. Not a move that would have
Maybe
occurred to me
Gukesh
very easily.
is preparing for some kind of f4, e5. Why else would you put rook on e1, right?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, that's what he's telegraphing, but it feels kind of irrelevant to the things happening. Like, what's the reply to rook a5?
I think I have to play rook a1. I'm not reaching for my a pawn.
I can't play a3, yes.
No, a3, c3 seems wrong. And yeah, okay, are you planning c3 before?
Maybe b3.
Or b3?
But yeah, with my rook already committed to the
And then
e1
c3 could be an overextended pawn that can become a weakness.
Could be. I was wondering about that, yeah.
How do these two players match up in their head-to-head matchups,
Let's
Nasi?
see. Very few classical games, 2 draws
Only.
and 1 win for MVL. Yeah, they've only played each other 3 times. That's a big surprise.
That's a shock. Really, I was looking.
There's an age difference, but still.
Yeah.
Both of them have been playing this top tournaments for so long.
Precisely so. You think that they have met in, charges and Grand Swisses and
Vikes and the candidates.
Makes it even more interesting that Gukesh said our games are always interesting. When there's only three of them.
All three.
Maybe they played a lot of rapid.
All three of them.
That's what he was talking about.
But bottom line, we all feel that MVL is more than pleased with the outcome of the opening in this one. I want to go to the game of Wesley, so just to catch up, and this move, Queen D2. The whole idea is Black is the one who sacrificed an exchange, looking for compensation for the exchange. Alireza obviously wants to go knight takes e5, knight d3, and smash White's position, but Wesley is prepared to counterblow. Takes on h5, bishop takes h5, takes on e5.
The whole sequence is entirely forced.
Absolutely forced.
So you can't give up the bishop on e5, he'll get mated, so it's always bishop g7, queen takes h5, and it does feel like g3 is much stronger than queen takes c5.
Yeah.
But g3, in some ways, after h3, king h2, the king has a pocket. I'd much rather, if I could get away with it, trying to play f5.
That's the line that Peter showed us. Black queen very quickly comes to c5, f2,
and
f2.
Then yeah, I think that's the because
forces some queen trades. That's the idea. Yeah, queen f2 is a critical
the king
move.
on g8 I think is actually in a lot more danger than it looks. But queen f2 does connect your pieces quite well. And interestingly, even here with the queen on f2 seemingly stopping rook f1, rook e1 for the future, after bishop h6, the engine is absolutely insistent that you have to play queen f5. That everything else is much, much worse. But yeah, this endgame, as I mentioned, is probably objectively a draw, even though the black structure is going to end up
a little compromised.
Quite unattractive. Yeah, I don't know. We take on g7, I guess, rook
so
d1.
now you're not too happy that your king's on h2, right?
Yeah.
Well, unless I can play g4 in a hurry, right?
Yeah.
Like I go here, you're going to go here, I assume, and I'm going to go here and rook d4. A combination of rook d4, king h3, and g4. And I'm hoping...
There's a little bit of a pull.
I got the passer, I mean...
But it's still, at the end of the day, it's still a rook ending with equal pawns.
Yep.
So probably around equal.
Wesley looking around. Where are you going to go? Alireza, in the first 3 rounds, I don't want to oversell it, but in the first 3 rounds, Alireza has been spending 90 minutes within 20 moves.
He has been.
And then he's down to his last 5.
And in all 3 games, he was in big trouble.
Right. Is that the case today?
I wouldn't say he's in big trouble today at all. And time-wise also, he actually has more time than Wesley. So today he's playing faster.
Okay.
He probably surprised Wesley a little bit with this Caro-Kann prep.
Yeah. But he is the defending champion from the 2024 Sinquefield Cup. And we know he loves coming to St. Louis. His first time on tour, he came here, won the Rapid and Blitz, won the Sinquefield Cup, won the GCT Tour, walked home with about $300,000 and said, I love St. Louis.
Bought and he repeated it again in 2024.
Yeah, and he bought himself a souvenir T-shirt that said precisely that, I love St. Louis. Queen D2 on the board. We're going to keep an eye on this one. Where are you going to take us, Nazi?
We haven't seen
Prague
versus Sevian for a bit.
Yeah.
The entire line I actually showed on the board
appeared
to pass.
When we left it, we left it at the point of b3 takes c4. Sam was invited to play an extremely double-edged game with d takes c4. We had always expected b takes c4 after all. Why did Sam put his rook on b8? Well, he wanted to support b5. He also wanted to be able to charge down that open file.
And we should stay with this because I think they will play the next 15 moves extremely quickly and the game will be over.
Next 15 moves.
Yeah. Queen e5, the move the engine very much liked, intending knight d4, was found by Sam, and they're now
Let's
simplifying
catch up with the
at
players.
The speed of light.
Look at this knight f6. Yeah, it forces a lot of trades.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a handshake very, very
And importantly, the entire queen side disappears. Otherwise, White maybe would have had a little bit of a push, but the a-pawns are about to be off the board in a moment. And there's really not very much left to play for.
Very solid play in the first 4 rounds.
Absolutely. For our wildcard player, he sure feels like he has not been in any trouble. And in that first round game, I think it was against Wesley.
He was much better.
Yeah.
He was slightly worse, I think, against Levon, but not in a big trouble.
Right.
Yesterday, he had no issues against Gukesh. And same today, no
Well, Pragg
issues.
played g3 here. Because if you take on a7 after rook fb8, even a pair of rooks comes off, and then you really have nothing. You can play g3 and pretend, right?
Right.
But rook a8, I can still force
Ah,
it.
rook a8 is a bit
Still
of
have to trade
but then,
rooks.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I think what Peter is trying to say is that after, say, g3 rook here, what he wants to do is play 4 rooks. And
Yeah,
he
something
wants,
like
he
this.
wants to bring your rook back
Something
to
like
f8 so that...
Yeah, Pragg sees no reason not to scare Sam a little bit.
Yeah.
Or at least annoy. Maybe not scare, but
No.
annoy.
Annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was very interesting for me in my work with Viktor Korchnoi, a single rook ending, 3 versus 2. You have the 2 pawns. I have f2, g2, h2. As we got, you have the 3. You have the 2 pawns. What are the best pawns? The best pawns, according to Viktor Korchnoi, f7 and f6. So a draw is, you know, really, really, really high on the expectation chart. Here, I don't even need to. Tell me.
If rook c1, I guess we just go rook bb8, rook f8. And then you kind of really do have to take on a7, because if it starts running, why are we playing for a win?
No, he's
Yeah.
taking
Yeah,
on
he's
a7.
taking. Yeah.
And they're going to
And
find it through repetition very soon.
Very, very quickly. And as you were just saying, for Sam Sevian, wild card, he's sure playing as if he belongs in this field. And
The Tarrasch did its job today.
big,
Absolutely.
big time.
On every board, right?
Yeah, big time.
Well, MVL also didn't get any problems, so yeah, on every board. And they're repeating.
Did you say 15, Peter? Like, with the queens who are still on the board, you said they're going to blitz the next 15.
Well, I saw knight f6 check on my screen, and
Coming.
that was enough information.
Right. Yeah. Will we see? Will we see a wrong claim and a 2 minute?
I think after yesterday, we're not going to see it again. Unlikely.
Prague could get an extra
Prague was
2 minutes.
involved in that yesterday, so there we go. Correct claim and the draw.
Maya, our international arbiter, approved of the player's decision to make a draw. Again, congratulations to Sam Sevian, our wild card, as he makes playing with the
draw.
black pieces against the number 3 player in the world, piece of cake. Vachier-Lagrave.
Let's go to Gukesh MVL. I just played a move I did not see coming.
We did expect, actually, the move rook a5, and we did expect rook a1.
But this last move, f5, I wasn't looking in that direction.
I don't hate it, though.
I'm loath to make my opponent's pieces look good.
But on the other hand, the knight on d4 was by far the best piece White had, and we are now likely
That was
maybe to
because
trade
it was
away.
past the 3rd rank.
Yes. Good point, well made. Yeah. Good point, well made.
Okay, but f5, seriously, what didn't you like or do like about this move?
I think it's
Nazi?
fine, just wasn't
It wasn't
one of my candidate moves.
I was
let's say.
looking at b5.
Yeah.
I was looking at the c3. I was looking at the rook returning to
Would it
c5
crazy
as
to
well.
take everything on f5 and then play king d4, just go completely in the center?
Say what?
Take bishop f5, I assume?
Yeah, bishop takes.
And king d4. I can put the king on c3.
A good king leads his army into battle.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, king f6, king c3. I like this, yeah.
King c3.
What do I do with my bishop on e2? It's so awkwardly placed on e2.
True that.
Yeah. Rook e5, though, maybe?
Rook e5.
Try to
I
maybe...
want to play bishop f1, but
Yeah.
not on
Oh,
the
actually,
second.
bishop f1 is completely fine.
We have to play bishop f1. Just
Right.
didn't want to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's equal, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just my feeling as well. Looks equal. I want to go... Where do I want to go?
Nodirbek finally made a move, and he did play h4, which VAR was suggesting is the strongest option.
No a3, no king
a3.
b1,
We think maybe we know why there's a difference, but we're still not sure.
We're not going to
Then
share
when
it with
b
them.
file opens
and
up.
there will be a massive. I'm assuming Fabi will play before hg, queen f4 check.
Okay, b4.
Those moves appear to be borderline forced, hg5 needs to be played, queen f4 check on
And
the
the more
square.
I'm looking at h4, h takes g5, I'm sitting there cursing myself. Why did I put my bishop on h7?
It's in the
I want
way.
to put my rook on h7. And
By the way, we keep on ignoring this possibility, and I just realized we're probably doing a disservice to our viewers. We should at least once show knight takes g5 as an option. Why are we so concentrated on h takes g?
okay.
Just open up h file. I think that's.
Yeah,
why
no,
we're-
but knight g5 creates
Well,
threats.
queen
b4 is on the
is
board.
d4 not hanging?
I thought knight e6, queen g6, rook f8, queen g8 was a pretty... Let's show this because it's a nice little sequence.
There's a
right?
mate. Yeah, knight
That
e6.
is mate in 4 kind of thing. Yeah.
Start with knight e6. That's pretty, but it's not a mate, right?
Right.
Knight a6. But I guess let's show this first and then we can come back and maybe
It is our sworn oath.
show every
Responsibility.
every possible checkmate.
Yeah.
There's one.
But I think after knight takes g5, the problem is we can actually start with b takes c3
Whoa, 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 whoa.
because
Okay.
rook f6 I will win the queen back.
C takes b.
That's a check.
cb and rook takes c2, and I think it ends up being good for black as far as
Black's
I can
Hold
tell.
on.
Piece.
There's rook
Whoa,
takes
whoa.
e6 there, right?
What's the body count?
But I have rook c1 check.
Right now we're down a piece, but you have rook e6.
Yeah, but rook c1 check, and I will end up actually 2 knights up right at the very end.
That's fun. 2 knights to the good. Hold on, I gotta promote. To the good. Takes.
And then h7 is hanging. Yeah, this is no good. 2 knights.
2 knights. 2 knights. Too good. That's why we played h4 is to play h takes g5, and the players are following a very, very sharp line. We're going to pause our analysis.
Let them think and figure out what to do next.
Yeah, we're going to let Nodirbek figure it out.
And we do have a special guest, Praggnanandhaa. Welcome back.
Thank you.
How do you feel about your draw today?
Yeah, I wanted to get a fight today, but I think this is one of the problems with opening prep. Yeah, that you can get surprised with such forcing lines which you don't remember. It's such a coincidence that we have 2 games from the same line, and Levon tried dc5, but I don't think he got anywhere.
No, he didn't either.
Yeah, this is, I guess, fine if you know it concretely, and yeah, I don't know. I don't think I got much, but towards the end, I think I had this one small try, which I thought I could take queen d4. Yeah, queen e5 is accurate, and I thought rook fd1 instead of rook fe1, which is strange, but I want knight d4, knight f6.
And you're going to take d4 knight instead of e7, like in the
Yeah,
game.
yeah. The point is, if I start with rook a d1, there is knight d4.
Sorry, if you start where? After
Rook
queen
d1
e5.
after queen.
Yeah.
Rook FD.
Rook a d1.
Rook a d1, yes?
There is knight d4, knight f6. King h8 always queen d3, but he goes queen f6. Queen f6, knight e2 check.
Oh.
Yeah, I need king f1 here. But king h1, gf, I'm completely fine because I have rook e1.
Yeah.
But knight d4 is a draw.
Yeah, rook e1, knight d4 is there. And if rook fe1, there's knight c3, and then,
Yeah.
this knight a2, rook b3.
Yeah. Well, it looks like he just played a very accurate game. And as you said, the Taresh has become an issue. And it happened twice in the same round, too.
Yeah, I should have probably expected something like this. Yeah, there are so many lines like this, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Has Sam played Taresh before when you were preparing?
No, I didn't find a game.
Oh, wow.
Maybe might have.
Might
Could have also
have
missed
his
it.
repertoire.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? It's like you're to blame as well as everybody else. The repertoires of the players are so broad. It's like you can really face anything on a given day.
Yeah, that's true. Also, you can prepare something new in one night. It's not too difficult. Yeah.
Right.
So it's, I'm sure you can prepare this one line in like a couple of hours. It's not difficult. So.
Didn't you play a benko out of the blue in one of these events, and you played a benko very well,
I did.
like very accurately?
Yeah, it's not bad. That's modern chess. Yeah, you can make anything work with the computer.
Exactly.
Even if it's like +1 for white, it doesn't matter. Over the board game.
Yeah.
I should say Benko is not +1, but
Yeah, right.
in general.
How do you feel about your tournament so far, Pragg?
Yeah, after first game, I don't think I really showed something special.
But the first game was so very special.
Yeah,
too.
first game was good. But okay, today I think it was nothing, and yesterday I was till some point. Then I had to find some accurate moves, which I did. Not very difficult, but I still had to find this knight h5, bishop e6, and all these things.
Right.
And day before yesterday, yeah, I don't think we played a great game, but it was still a fine one. So
yeah.
How are your energy levels? Are you looking forward to the rest day?
Yeah, I'm always looking forward to it.
Spoken like
So
a true broadcaster.
No, it's difficult because, and as you can see, yeah, like modern chess is like this. You have to expect even the things that they don't prepare.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't play. But they already play so much. So like you can't really look at everything, and you also have to take care of your energy and so on. So yeah, you have to manage everything.
Pragg, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck in the rest of the game. Let's take a look at the results. After we were in round 4, we had 2 draws so far.
Quiet day so far. We had 2 draws. Levon drew his game against Jan-Krzysztof, and Pragg drew against Sam Sevian.
Big fight still brewing in the game of Nodirbek and
something.
Fabi, and Wesley and Alireza. Great fights going on there. Let's just swing to those games, as we do have not knight takes e5. Interesting, we have queen takes c5 by Alireza. I think he was afraid of the knight h5 variation.
I think so. Oh yeah, he didn't take on e5, took on c5.
Exactly.
But we will get back to that as we have another special guest in the studio.
Absolutely, and welcome, welcome, welcome.
Sam Sevian.
Sam.
Do you feel happy about your result today?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very smooth game. I mean,
You make it look easy, drawing a 3rd player in the world right now with the black pieces. How do you do it?
yeah, I mean, I kind of surprised him today, and it was pretty tame line, so I managed to equalize very quickly.
Yeah.
I was even considering maybe trying
At a certain moment, yeah.
like queen a5 maybe, but
At which moment, Sam?
yeah.
There we go. This was
I think this is the
here.
only choice where I have a choice, because when I play b5, I'm kind of committed to play b takes c4.
Yeah.
Because if b5, bc, dc, he plays d5, knight a5, a bit awkward.
Yeah.
And then e4, let's say.
Yeah.
And it's double-edged, but I don't really like black's position that much. I mean, knight d4 is coming.
Right.
So maybe I should have played queen a5 first instead of b5.
Instead of b5, yeah.
And now, I mean, it's his choice. Does he want to play queen d2 or c1?
For example.
All of them have drawbacks, right? So b5,
Right.
bc,
Yeah.
dc, because if bc, he can still play e4.
Okay.
And now if he plays d5, I might have rook d8.
So that's the difference.
That's the difference, yeah.
Still, as you
Maybe
say,
b4.
double-edged
Yeah,
game.
now it could
I
be
mean,
double-edged, yeah.
yeah, you got your passers on the, what is it, the Notaboom variation where
Noteboom, yeah.
Yeah, Noteboom, where I got 2 passers in the center, you got 2 passers on the queen side. You eschewed these very, very double-edged lines, and you went for the solid continuation, and as you said, it's
yeah. Here I
smooth.
just calculated until queen e5, which basically forces the bishop off if he doesn't take a big risk.
Exactly. Sam, you're making it look as you absolutely belong in this field. That's a good feeling.
Yeah,
that's a very, very good feeling. And your next big event is the Grand Swiss. You're trying to make it to the candidates.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah. Grand Swiss, US Championship, and World Cup. So it's a nice, busy, good year.
Good. Yeah.
Very busy year, yes. And you said that you only found out 2 months before this event that you were going to play here. So I'm going to assume the last 2 months it's been full-time prep?
Yeah. I mean, I had one event in between, but basically the last month I've been preparing.
Wow.
Nice. Well, it shows. You're doing really well.
You certainly are. Thank you so much for joining us, Sam. Hope you're a frequent guest on the show, huh?
Thank you.
Absolutely. Peter, we're going to throw it back to you because Wesley and Alireza, right?
Yeah, this is the one I wanted to return to because
Not yet. Let's
Oh, sorry.
Pull it up.
All right, let me just do it here. Where's the game? There it is. Of course, it's always at the very top. We did not see after Queen D2. We had been expecting knight takes E5. We've been showing a long-winded variation. Knight H5, Bishop H5, Rook E5, followed by Queen G5. Actually, Alireza started with a different move altogether. He started with Queen takes E5. Now I want to throw it to you, Peter.
Yeah.
Is that a better move than knight takes
It's not
E5?
a good move, but there's a very specific reason for it. And black is probably still alive. And the idea behind Queen takes E5 is very simple. If white starts with the most natural move in the position, we are in time to kick it away with Queen E7. We don't actually lose the pawn on H5.
Important.
And after the possible Queen E7, Knight E7, you have to be, I think, it feels like you have to be accurate with white.
Yes, with white.
Despite being an exchange up for the time being, this bishop is very, very strong. Black has, and this is something, I am, compared to you two, I'm a very occasional Caro player. I did play it a couple of times when I needed to play for a win with black, but
I like the way you put it.
When you play Caro.
Yeah, one of the more memorable wins on demand with the black pieces came, and I chose to play the Caro against Evgeny Alexeyev in the Russian Championship. But the reason you like these positions is structurally, you're so sound that if you manage to solve the problems that you will have out of the opening, you know, you're maybe behind the development, you're behind maybe in spatial equations. But this comes back to C6. E5 is constantly weak. These pieces don't really have particularly good squares. So this is instantly fine, maybe even slightly better for black. The problem is this move.
Right.
Bishop takes H5, and now Queen G5. Queen E7 is no longer in time. You absolutely have to play Bishop G6. Well, it would seem maybe G3 does something, but it really doesn't, because we always have Bishop E3, and then we take on H5 next move.
I hear the sound of a door slamming shut after the move Bishop E3.
Yeah. I mean, the engine suggests maybe D5, D4 is not entirely unplayable with the idea of Queen H5, Knight E5, creating a threat of winning the queen, but after the queen returns to G5, or alternatively, a very cute-looking move, King F1, making this into not a check. Right. And then we're threatening to play something like Bishop F4. But the main line goes Bishop G6, white plays H5, black plays Queen E7. Regrettably for white, there's no way to keep the queens on, so you probably play HG, queen takes G5, you play GF, black takes with the king, you take on G5. And now, if black could just do this in one move, black would be instantly fine. But unfortunately for them, there is Bishop H6. If not for Bishop H6, I think black would be, you're not even remotely better in my eyes. But Bishop H6 does give white an advantage, because you can't play Knight G3, not just because the bishop gets traded away, but also because the rook becomes active.
Right.
You badly need to contain the rook somehow. So you will have to take on H6, but then after Rook E5, E6 is a bit vulnerable. This rook might land up on H5. You know, there are some lifts via A4, B4. You're not dead. I suspect the engine would hold this position if you asked it to against a strong grandmaster, but you're not enjoying yourself very much. So maybe you choose this in order to keep both the light pieces on the board, but then your idea of landing knight on D3 has been postponed, or maybe cancelled.
Cancelled.
Because it's not gonna happen. And you can maybe try King F1, E2 to give your rook the H file, because once again, for white, yes, you're an exchange up, but the big question is how to find any work for our rooks. Right. Currently, they are very, very restricted, and the only open file on the board is the H file. So maybe you go for this to try to get the rook over to H1. The evaluation, once again, seems to suggest that black probably survives. After King F1, you can throw in Rook H8, so that after King E2, you could play perhaps Rook H2 and stop Rook H1, or at least make it cost white some material.
Right.
It's a mess. But to begin with, Wesley needs to play knight takes H5, because I think after Queen G5, Queen E7, I'm picking black.
Right.
The evaluation on my screen is around zeros, but I'm picking black very confidently as a side which is much easier to play.
Peter, thank you. I mean, the way you just describe in such a nonchalant...
Knight H5 played, by the way.
Yeah, you know, like this needs to be done, and these are the reasons why. It's so very, very concrete and on point. Thank you for that. And we're just going to go quickly on break. Before the players get in time control, what are we going to leave our viewers with?
As we go to break, let's take a look at one of the most historic performances at the Sinquefield Cup, and we'll be right back.
As you would expect, 10 years of the Grand Chess Tour has featured some of the most extraordinary chess and chess moments I've ever witnessed. It was 2014, the second Sinquefield Cup.
My name is Fabiano Caruana, and you are watching the Sinquefield Cup live in St. Louis.
Welcome to a recap of the 2014 Sinquefield Cup, the strongest chess tournament in history.
If you were to run 15,000 tournament simulations, I don't think you would get a single one that ended in the event as it did. Fabiano Caruana did what we would call a streak. He started with a win.
Italian Fabiano Caruana, who crushed Wesley of Bulgaria in the first round.
Another.
Before displaying an amazing pre-game preparation against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave.
Another.
Carlsen sacrificed a piece only to see Caruana accept it and defend coolly and rebuff his attack.
Another.
And today he crushed Levon Aronian.
I think it's a great start, but I have to stay vigilant till the end. After the first two games, I was still thinking like, okay, you're having a good start, don't let it get in your head.
Fabiano's playing, he's playing proper chess. I have a great record against Fabiano, so I just have to beat him, basically.
That sets up a key round 5 matchup between tournament leader Fabiano Caruana and Hikaru Nakamura. He is off to an epic beginning.
The openings are going well, my opponents are getting a bit, like I'm maybe getting a bit in their head.
Commentators were asking, can this keep going on?
But it's all about fabulous Fabiano, the young Italian player winning yet another game.
He wins 5 in a row.
Couldn't have even dreamed that I would start with a perfect score. The result might not show it, but all the games have been difficult. But in any case, it's a fantastic start. I couldn't have imagined that I would do something like this. I think I didn't feel any real pressure because things were going so well that it was kind of impossible to mess up at some point. And also I had some luck on my side in certain key moments, and just everything came together like that.
The whole of the chess world was buzzing. And 6 in a row.
Well, it's Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak, the Miami Dolphins' perfect season in '72, and now it's fabulous Fabiano Caruana with a 6-0 score, blitzing the field in an epic performance, one of the greatest in chess history.
I just want to play solidly the remaining games, just keep playing normal chess.
Then I can't believe it. 7 in a row.
As Vachier-Lagrave is still making moves in this position, clearly it's over.
I can't believe what I'm witnessing. I really can't. This is unbelievable. Can he keep the streak alive?
Can you believe that you're 7-0 in this kind of tournament?
Yeah, it keeps getting weirder. That I keep winning, although I'm not really trying to go for anything like this. I'm just trying to play normally.
It was extraordinary. This was round 8. He's up against Magnus Carlsen, who he had previously won. It's a double round robin. Could Fabi go 8-8, 8 out of 8, perform a Bobby Fischer, win all of his games?
Even if he doesn't turn up for the last 2 games, it would be one of the great results of our time, and if he finishes in style, it will be one of the great results ever.
The end to his historic run, 7.5 out of 8. Oh man, an underachiever. Whoa, especially a draw against the #1 player in the world. I mean, come on.
I won the tournament, but it's still not over, and it's important to end on a high note.
He got the half a point. He's still in line for the greatest performance ever.
And a draw has been agreed. Wow.
It hasn't happened before since. I've had periods where things are really going well, almost everything's going well, but not to that extent that, absolutely everything with almost no exception until my 8th round against Magnus, where still pretty much everything went well, just one, 2 moments in the game turned it into a draw. It's not like you have an ambition to get a result like that. You can't control it, and if you get in that rhythm, it can happen. But I look back very fondly, of course, on all the games in that tournament. Yeah, I think it was really about everything just coming together at the right time. It's everything fit together. It was like a 1 in a billion.
I can't believe what I'm witnessing. I really can't. This is unbelievable.
It would be one of the great results of our time.
Stand by for an historic month at the St. Louis Chess Club, from Garry Kasparov's return to the national championships, as well as a global super tournament. October represents an unprecedented celebration of chess, cementing St. Louis as the chess capital of the United States and a world leader in the game.
This October, the St. Louis Chess Club will unveil an expanded 30,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility featuring a tournament hall, classrooms, a chess-themed restaurant, and cutting-edge broadcast technology, cementing the club's role as the premier global hub for chess.
On October 8th, the reopening kicks off with a 5-day, once-in-a-generation clash between two world champions, Garry Kasparov and Viswanathan Anand. It's a battle for $144,000 in a Chess 960 exhibition match. It's an event that honors chess history while launching a new era in St. Louis.
Starting October 12th, the newly renovated Chess Club will host one of America's most prestigious tournaments, the U.S. and U.S. Women's Championships. 24 elite players will compete for more than $400,000 in prizes. The opening ceremonies will also honor new inductees into both the U.S. and World Chess Halls of Fame, adding to this historic moment.
The month culminates with the world's top 4 stars, Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru Nakamura, Fabiano Caruana, and world champion Gukesh Dommaraju in the highest-rated tournament of the year, Clutch Chess Champions Showdown. With more than $400,000 in prizes and an innovative escalating scoring format, fans can expect drama until the very last round.
Plan your October around this historic month, coming to you from the newly remodeled St. Louis Chess Club, bringing you the best in chess from the home of chess in America. See you in October.
The Grand Chess Tour Finals are back, and this time the stage is set in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The top 4 players face off in rapid, blitz, and classical showdowns, each move pushing them closer to a share of $350,000 and the ultimate crown. It all comes down to this. The battles are fierce, the stakes are high, and only one will stand as the Grand Chess Tour champion.
Welcome back, everyone. We're in the middle of round 4, but we already have 2 results. Let's take a look. There were 2 draws between Pragg and Sam Sevian and Levon Aronian and Jan-Krzysztof Duda, and both of those had same opening, the Tarrasch.
The Tarrasch. They were pretty tame affairs, but what we've got on the boards on the other 3 games are very interesting, including Wesley and Alireza. Before we get into the games, I just wanted to give a big shout out to the production team for that little montage of the seven in a row by Kevin Duggan and Spectrum. It's still, for me, one of the great moments that wasn't included in that clip. It was at the end of the tournament. There was a press conference between the players. And the journalist, Mike Klein from Chess.com, had asked the players, in one word, just one word, could you please describe the performance of Fabiano? And it was like unbelievable, brilliant, magnificent. Goes down the entire line of players, and it comes to Magnus, and he goes, depressing. It stole the press conference right there.
Pretty good, yeah.
Depressing.
Also, I noticed it was sort of in the Picasso's blue period, yeah, because it still said Italy on the card there.
Exactly, exactly. Maybe that was one of the 1624 players being represented.
I don't think we've had any other Italians on the tour. Yeah.
Peter, the game between Wesley and Alireza has progressed
directly as you suggested.
Absolutely. This is the one that's moving the quickest, because I still feel like Nodirbek versus Fabi is the more fun position.
Right.
But Nodirbek, understandably, is in deep, deep thought there, because he finally, I think, realized that it's unclear who's attacking who, and is now coming to grips with the very difficult calculations he needs to make. And this is exactly the line that we were discussing earlier. Knight h5 was found. In this position, Queen e7 needs to be played and was played. And now Wesley is thinking, you can maybe make an argument for doing this and maybe throwing in bishop g5. Otherwise, it wouldn't really make much sense. If you take on g6, it also
You're just helping.
Yeah, it also abandons the e5 pawn, and that's maybe not that great. But you can throw in bishop g5, which gets you a position which is similar to the previous one, but it's difficult to protect the pawn on e5. Arguably, maybe impossible to protect the pawn on e5. The engine throws in a6, b6, and goes bishop f6. Takes, goes king h2.
If you don't
Specifically king h2 maybe, because currently you cannot take on f2 because rook takes e6, and still prefers white a touch.
But let's switch, if you don't mind, because
we
have breaking news,
Nodirbek
Peter.
didn't find the right move, and now
He
he's
didn't
big
play the
trouble.
move.
Yeah, bishop f5.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up on my board for a moment, if you don't mind. Where are you?
I think that's the last board, fifth one. There we go.
I feel like I'm in a simultaneous display where the two remaining games are on opposite
He's down to 13 minutes as well.
Okay, so essentially, when we left it in this really double-edged, super sharp position. B4 takes, queen check, over. And we were expecting knight h4, I believe.
I don't know what we were expecting. This is such a difficult position to calculate clearly.
Exactly.
Well, that was the best move to make.
Yeah.
He didn't find it.
He played bishop f5. And now...
Regrettably for him, he even loses to two moves. I thought it was only c takes b2 that was winning, but there's actually a second solution. cb2 is very forcing, but you can also play rook h8, apparently.
How is rook h8 a winning move?
Yeah, right?
It looks like a defensive move.
Yeah, rook h8, you wait for rook takes h8, and then you take on f5. It's important to do it in this order, because this way we dodge f5, f6 checks. Bishop f5, g5, king takes h8. And then if you give a check on the h file, I will go to g8, of course, and not g7. And if you play f6, I think I have queen e4 probably is the reason this is so bad, right?
And we've been so wanting to open up the h file.
So if king was on a1, you would have c takes b. So it's like, if I could get queen h2, but
right.
Can't get out of it.
Fabi seemingly even has a choice of things which win.
But the one that was really confounding to my eyes was c takes. We're
Queen
happily
c8.
munching the rook.
And then knight c7.
Knight c5, and then we were having these really
rook b8,
crazy
Rook b8, yeah.
Followed
doubts.
by knight b5.
Bishop f5, queen f5, knight b5, knight c3. Wait a minute, knight
One of those,
e3?
the hunter becomes the hunted
kind of
scenarios,
moments.
I wonder, without the engine, do you really consider all this? To fully give up a rook and everything?
It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. I mean, Fabi is perfectly capable of it on a good day, but I think rook h8 you calculate first.
Yes. But what a remarkable moment in a game that he really got surprised. G5 and G4 by Nodirbek. He really came well prepared. And then I think brilliant defensive play by Fabi, a mixture of offense and defense. And now suddenly he's in the driver's seat and Fabi could win 2 in a row. Ooh,
yeah, and
big,
as we were
results.
predicting, rook h8, because rook h8 exists, and it's a much easier move to see, he does opt for rook h8, and he seems to be in control now.
If you don't mind, if I now toss in knight h4 with the idea...
Rook takes h4 probably, right?
Oh, yeah.
Too late.
Yeah.
Rook takes h4 is a very, very painful realization that essentially everything has gone wrong. You know,
Queen f1.
Queen f1. Oop. And if I take the queen, sorry.
If you start with bishop takes e6, I was wondering, if after rook h8 you start with bishop takes e6, the problem is you can just take on e6 and take on h8, and yes, you do get to give me a check from h7.
Nope.
Yeah, let's look at this for a second. If you go bishop e6, it's basically the same position. We do get here But this is, it's one check. F3 is still hanging. You can give a check on h7 with either the rook or the queen. The king goes to f8 in either case, and then the checks run out. You're currently a piece down. This is hanging.
Right.
There's no mating attack. It's just bad. You have to switch to defending because also like your king is not safe anymore.
Right.
And the same applies just for illustration's sake. This looks threatening. There's like knight h4, g6 ideas and everything, but there's
Queen e4.
Queen e4 will get the queens off the board very, very consistently for black. So bishop takes 6 doesn't do anything. The best choice does appear to be takes, and then doing something incredibly sad like b takes c3. But once you start giving black tempi to, I play king g7 here, and then I play knight d6. And yeah, the engine just says there's no hope really, because the attack fizzles. You have a couple of pawns for the piece, but they are not particularly beautiful, and you know this will come in, and black will start collecting. Yeah, Fabi is...
What a turnaround.
Fabi is seemingly a few short moves away from assuming total control here, and on +2 he will feel like the king of the world.
And he will be in clear first because the other players who are sharing first, they already drew their games.
Yes, Tarash has...
Levon has drawn.
Stumped them for today.
Wow, rook h8. You're just running out of attackers.
I think Nodirbek has realized that his attack is fizzling and he's just down a piece.
Yeah.
I really come back to that move, bishop takes g6. I think that just threw him way off the whole idea of h4 and h takes g5.
Once again go through the critical moments a little bit after the,
with the benefit of hindsight.
Yeah, with the benefit of hindsight. Beginning from here, at this moment, I think Nodirbek had about an hour and 27 minutes on the clock, and Fabi already began thinking, and as was perhaps heard on the hot mic, I was saying you should probably spend more time trying to figure out why this is being offered to you. b7, b5 was very strong. Instead, hg5, g4 hands the initiative back to white. g6 is one of the better moves in the positions. Maybe knight to f6 was objectively stronger, but I think from a practical viewpoint, as the game shows, amply shows, this is a better choice. And in this position, queen d2 is pretty good, king b1 is pretty good, but it is so difficult not to take a pawn in front of your opponent's king immediately. But it does give black very, very important time to sort of reset, establish some sort of a defensive perimeter around the king, and also the counterplay will come very quickly. Bishop f5 here was probably a more sensible choice, but understandably, he didn't play this line to play conservatively. He didn't play it to suddenly switch to, playing for a positional small edge. So he's gone for the most obvious idea of still going after the king. And then after b4, h takes g5, queen f4, king b1, b takes c3, it needed to be found. The idea of knight h4 needed to be found, needed to be played. And this was still okay. VAR confirmed that a strong computer actually shows full zeros at the end. Knight h4, only real move is queen takes g5, knight f5 check, takes. Black plays knight ef6 because the line rook h7 check is not great. You have to connect the rooks as well. Bishop takes d7. You cannot take because queen h7 is mate in 1. You play rook b8. White cannot take on c3 because that drops that bishop because you no longer have queen h7 mate. So white plays b2, b3. Black plays knight e4. And in this position, I think it's important to play rook f5. And this shakes out to actual zeros somehow. I still don't exactly know how, but it's not that relevant anymore. But knight h4, in a way, if you play knight h4, you're once again giving up on the dream of giving mate. You are switching to trying to contain the damage. And Nodirbek, who is on a half a point out of 3 and not having a particularly fun tournament, I don't think he wanted to make that move.
No.
So he ended up convincing himself that bishop f5 is more attractive, and now he is probably objectively lost.
Wow. I mean, a dramatic turnaround. We're seeing a number of games where the dramatic turnarounds occur.
He's down to 9 minutes with 14 more moves to go in a very difficult position.
Yeah, he has played rook takes h8. Bishop takes f5 is strong, but actually even just taking on h8 is very strong. You can absolutely go for this line.
But
we
maybe
know
I can do knight h4 after king h8 check and knight h4. Does that help?
With or without capturing on?
Not particularly.
So it's still just terrible.
Not particularly, no.
I finally got knight h4.
Yay!
Yeah, but we've traded away so many attackers by this point that it no longer really does very much. Yeah, so Fabi by this point even has choices. Bishop f5 is very solid, but yeah, I think he's just taken on h8. There's no reason to improve the white structure.
Right. So king takes h8 on the board. Fabi, you were about to tell me
has how much time?
He has 40 minutes more than Nodirbek.
Wow, what a turnaround on the clock. Again, those joining us late. Nodirbek had played his first dozen moves, including castling long, in basically the time he was allocated, 90 minutes to start the game. And he was way ahead on the clock, and some very difficult decisions, including bishop takes g6. He didn't navigate very well, and now we feel that Fabi is close to winning his second game on the trot.
Yeah, once the g6 move that Fabi played, it was actually brilliant because it's provoking bishop g6.
Right, and he couldn't
Great
resist.
Practical choice.
Yeah,
yes.
resist the temptation of capturing the pawn in front of his king, as Peter said.
I think Nodirbek's about to give a check on h1. That's where his hand was going.
Yeah.
Okay, so once again, one of the things that you might be thinking about is takes, queen g6. It's refuted in two ways. First is what black has this move queen e4. The second,
I like second one better.
The second one is also pretty darn good. c2.
Okay,
he has played bishop takes e6.
Well, question, if you take f takes e, which has happened, so we start with the check. Let's just show that just few checks.
I think king g7 is cleaner than king g8 because you don't want to give queen g6 check ideas, even though I don't see what it does. But
yeah, even that's probably lost for white easily.
But I think that Peter was showing this in either case of a check on h7 with either the rook or the queen, at the end of the day, our king is facing
still
a
weaker
is the weaker one, check on the first rank. And by the way, queen e4 is another way of getting the queens off the board. And there goes any vestiges of an attack.
I wonder if we had a window for our king in this position, let's say pawn was on a3 or a4, would we have some chances with queen h2? No.
I'm suspicious.
Yeah,
I think
this made it first.
Yeah,
probably not.
Yeah, I doubt.
Probably not, but it would at least be a valid question. Whereas in the current position,
now
there's
it's very
just
obvious,
no hope whatsoever. Yeah.
It's strange that these two pawns on the g file that with the battering rams that were forcing open Fabi's king ended up to become useless in terms of their attacking potential. Rook h1, we are expecting king g7 by Fabi, and wow, what a turnaround.
Which one would he pick, actually? Because
I like king g7 just to deny queen g6.
Queen g6 and knight g7 actually kind of makes our position
covers
tidier.
Everything.
Yeah.
It does cover
Although
everything.
queen h7, queen h8, queen c8, yeah, I don't want to allow that. Yeah, let's play king g7.
Well, the thing that I would kind of, I would want to encourage, I guess, putting it that way, is I'm not afraid of the rook. Of all the pieces to land on the d7 square, the rook does the least amount of damage, I would say. And here I am looking at queen h1 winning, queen e4 winning, and Fabi's just,
White is so bereft of threats here that black could actually, I don't think we're planning to trade queens anymore. We're planning to give mate.
Yeah, we're starting to look at moves like rook b8 as well as queen checks. Ouch.
We expect this game to end in Fabi's favor. Should we check how Gukesh and MVL are doing? Because that endgame has changed a lot since we last looked at it.
Yeah,
it livened up quite a bit, which we absolutely welcome.
When we were
so F5 lost, right?
On break, yeah, it was sort of like this position. We kind of like what MVL had done up to this moment. Played the move f6, f5, a move that you, Peter, didn't like. I was kind of
no, I didn't mind it at all. It's the rook e5 that felt to me like it's maybe a little bit too provocative.
But this all still looks like it's going pretty much in black's favor.
Rook c8, yeah.
Takes.
G5 check, hg, rook takes g5, and the threat of rook g4 check forces the bishop back to d1.
Okay.
And yeah, you start feeling like maybe black is making some progress, but the bar seems to suggest it's not true.
You know what move is available here for black?
Just a second. Rook f5? No.
Close.
Rook g? No.
Knight f5.
Knight f5.
Knight
e5,
f5.
king g6 or something? Or
On what move?
So the idea.
I thought e5 check was a
King
problem.
G6, yeah.
Yeah, just King G6. Yeah.
So knight f5, e5.
So Peter, we're going to revisit your question. What the GCT tour would look like if tournaments were over yesterday?
Let's take a look. And I think compared to the current standings, what will happen is Alireza would be unceremoniously dumped out of the top 4 by Prague.
So this is the situation after 3 rounds of play, right? Okay. Alireza's out.
Yeah.
Basically.
We assume Fabi wins today. That really propels him to the top of the standings. He's probably going to overtake in the live standings. If he wins and every single other game today is a draw, Fabi will be probably leading the GCT standings after round 4. Yeah, it would still be the same top 4, but Fabi would be very, very comfortably on top there.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, and that's what it's all about, is making the playoffs.
Fabi also chose G7 over G8, which I think is the correct choice. And Nodirbek looking nervous and somewhat unhappy, and with good reason.
An attack gone wrong. I mean, it's really that simple. Nothing. Where are the cheapos, Nazi? Are there any
There's
cheapos?
not much left because black's threats are so serious.
Okay.
Queen e4, queen takes f3.
I always look at the most forcing moves first.
King f8.
I mean, any kinds.
E7.
Any kinds of checks.
D6,
I think, yeah.
Running for them hills.
Yeah, you want 95, but I think I can hide on the queen side. King c7.
Oh, man.
Queen h7, king b8, a8, yeah. And then it's my turn. And then finally it's my turn.
I mean, the journey across the board, you know you came from h8, right?
Yes, all the way to a8.
And you went all the way to a8.
All the way across. He chose rook h7. Now black's play, I think, becomes very... I wonder what he found there that even gives him a sniff. Maybe g6 here or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's played g6. And you're looking at rook f7.
Yeah.
You're dreaming about rook f7.
Yeah. Knight df6 is extremely solid, though, because we sort of put something in front of the queen so that rook f7 doesn't really attack anything, and now we cover everything. Like after knight df6, there's really no squares you can even get your pieces to.
I'm kind of curious. It's not going to happen, but could Fabi take on f3 and still win? Give up the queen?
Probably.
It's still winning.
Yeah, it's still much better.
I mean, it's just so good.
We just go king takes f7.
It's still winning.
Two
Queen
knights
h7,
and a
knight
rook.
g7. You probably win this position long term, but yeah, there's no reason to allow it.
Yeah, I love the move that you suggested, knight
df6.
Knight df6. First of all, you're attacking the rook. You're forcing the rook actually to a square that it does nothing. The two knights beautifully protect the king. Not that you ever had queen h2 in any case, but with the knight coming to f6, you're making queen e4 even that much more powerful. No, this is, I mean, there's no threats.
No,
Why it's
whatsoever.
done.
Let's...
Peter,
We're in the middle of Gukesh MVL, right?
Yeah, I'm
Before we
going to
jump
keep
back.
my eye on Fabi's game, but just update us on the other games if you don't mind.
Yeah, this is the position we were just discussing in the Gukesh game against MVL. Nazi's knight f5 is very strong. It's probably by far the strongest move in the position. The idea being that if knight takes f5, you can take with the rook. Ef rook takes e1 is probably just dead lost because that pin on the back rank will probably cost you a piece long term. So you have to play king g3, but then your king gets kicked away. Black gets to play rook f2, and then black gets to remind white that the c pawn survived.
Still alive.
Yeah.
Good news.
So after knight f5, the suggestion is to play e5, king g6, and now you have to take on f5 because you would like to play knight f3, but maybe you shouldn't.
Ouch.
So knight f5, rook f5, king f3, king g3, and now there's no rook g8 check. This is why we've chosen this. But we're still somewhat struggling after rook g5 check, followed in some positions with bishop c6, attacking the pawn on c2. I assume it's a draw, but it's a kind of a draw you sometimes don't make because you absolutely are being pushed around. Second best move appears to be knight f7. That's much, I mean, both of these are quite difficult to find. Knight f7 with the intention of putting it on a very nice square and going from there. But yeah, MVL understandably has been in the tank for a bit here because I think he feels that there might be something. And indeed there is, but this is not an easy move to spot. It's a kind of, first of all, you're putting it on pre, secondly, you're allowing it, whoops, he did not play that. No. Fear not, dear viewers, it's just my wondering.
Kinetic personality.
Yeah.
He did play knight f5. He found it.
Very well played by MVL. Yeah, Gukesh now needs to play very precisely. This is potentially problematic.
When we were coming in, we were saying, what kind of mood will MVL be in, having spilled the goods in round 3 against Levon? Well,
I think he shrugged.
He shrugged it off.
Back,
It looks to me like he's still playing
very much back in
chess.
the saddle, and doing well. So this is that position, and in the other game that is not the game we're watching, Wesley chose not to go h takes g6, which I'm slightly surprised by. He went for this, and you have to assume the idea has to be played bishop b3. It has to be to play bishop b3, which is somewhat strangely to my eyes has not been played yet, because if you don't do that, I don't really know why you've allowed this. You had other options. You can't just give up with the pawn on e5 for nothing. So, bishop e3 at least trades it for the a7 pawn, because if you play a6 and allow bishop d4, you are going to be worse. Even though you still have that play, but white immediately starts opening up the queen side. Like you try to open the b file and get to the b7 pawn, and this is not good. So black should take. We take on a7. Black should put the knight on the best square on the board. White goes something like rook e b1.
Yeah.
And black starts pushing, I assume, like f5, e5, f4, and so on.
Let's go.
Whereas for white, you want to play a6 and finally get some of your rooks into the game. It's a very interesting, very sharp endgame where the engine suggests white is a touch better, but not much. Optically, I would say, why is white even better at all?
Yeah, I would be kind of enthusiastic. Yeah. I play rook a8, actually, just to slow down a6. Where are you going to go with the bishop?
We go to b6, and then, something
let's
like
go.
f5, King f1, king f7, king e2.
Can we start pushing? f4?
Yeah, but let's go back
By the way, Fabi
because
did play the best move, knight d7 to f6, and you're seeing a very, very concerned Nodirbek there as he realizes he's about to resign.
Yeah, and he's rechecking the score sheet, which is always a very, very clear sign of somebody who is about to end the game and is looking for a mistake.
Yeah.
I know we left the other game, but Gukesh made a really bad move, and he's also in trouble.
Yeah, this is the line we showed. This is a line which
rook
leads
G8
to borderline lost endgames. Yeah.
Rook g8 and rook f2.
And Nodirbek about to lose his third game out of 4. -3. I don't think I've seen him perform in a classical tournament so poorly.
Yeah, and let's remind our viewers, we are talking about a world's top 10 player. In today's world of, 12700s to climb your way into the top 10. And then to go, as you say, half out of 4,
today, this could have gone completely different way.
Absolutely.
He had a chance to take down Fabiano Caruana. He's only 20 years young. His ERS rating is 2770, world rank number 7. And in 2021, when he was only 16 years old, he became world rapid champion by taking down Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, it goes to show what a veteran player he is, that he became world champion at 16. By beating Magnus, just as you said. And really, he came super well prepared. I loved his preparation. And he just got sidetracked by this bishop takes g6. If he had just kept to his intention with g5, g4, h4, I think, like you say, it could be a completely different world.
This is a sad moment. We know all chess players do it, looking away from the camera, just staring at the wall when you know you got to resign.
I know. It's just, it's the world's worst feeling.
For a chess player, yes.
Yeah. Where's a safe place I can hide? It's like, ugh. Yeah.
Only 5 minutes left, but I think he might just resign. Can he?
No, I don't even see a single chip. No.
Yeah, just rook f7, check, king g8, and that's it.
Yeah. g7, king g8 also does absolutely nothing. 95 loses to a wide variety of things. Yeah, it's just bad. In a way, it's a blessing he only has 5 minutes, because...
And once again, those of you joining us late, also Gukesh, world champion Gukesh, in deep trouble against MVL. By the way, MVL with the win, he'll jump up to +1 and join
tie for
Levon
second.
And
tie for second.
And
would have been tie for first.
Well, if Fabi wins to be in clear first.
Had he won yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we expect Fabi to be in clear first, and MVL will join Sharon second with Levon and Prague.
Let me see. Can there be any cheapos whatsoever? G7, King G8. Now, problem is this rook.
The rook is hanging. Yeah, you can give a check, but then you run out of checks or, frankly, ideas. Yeah.
And something silly. I'm just
simply
allowing.
Queen E4 is ready.
Queen E4.
Yeah. To trade queens and have an extra piece in the endgame.
If you're going to put it like that, I'm just not picking MVL to be on my team in that extra piece ending. Nodirbek and real
has
distress.
done something very strange
there he is.
there.
Did he resign?
I think he stopped the clock.
He stopped the clock.
Yeah.
Huge win for Fabi. That's 2 wins in a row for
Wow.
him, and now he's in clear first.
Yep. Wow. But you've been telling us about Gukesh and MVL.
A very, very strange thing happened on that board. While we're waiting, we assume for Fabi to come and tell us all about his game today. MVL, like, very few things are less natural than this. And it hasn't been played. Yeah, you bishop f3, you play c3.
Yep.
If the pawn is attacked, it actually survives on c2 very, very comfortably, because after rook e2 there's the usual rook g takes g2 trick, which once again the pawn is alive, and now there's also an extra pawn for us. Like, this position is maybe just lost, frankly, because there's no way to get to
e5 checks.
e5, we just go king e7, and then we play bishop c6 maybe and win the pawn.
I
on G2.
wanted to take a pawn.
Okay, and yeah, just bishop f5. It's very similar to yesterday's game by Fabi, where we have this passer which you cannot touch, and eventually we will find a way to put a rook on d1, and from there we will win. And it's just, you might not even realize how well you're doing, but if you're choosing between that and the move MVL played, which is bishop takes a takes b3, sorry, c takes b3, which robs you of the g8 square.
And
develops the bishop, connects the rooks.
Yeah.
Like,
and we could have had that pawn on c2.
I would like to know why this happened, frankly. MVL is a tremendous endgame player, one of the best endgame players in the world. I would like to know why this happened. I don't understand.
That pawn on c2 would have been enormously powerful. Now, I think MVL's just tossed away the lion's share.
But we didn't have bishop b3, also a takes
b3, but still, there's no passer now. And you can still go rook g8, rook f2, but your trumps are, like, there's no passer on c3, a7 is hanging.
We have a6 on the board as well. We think that...
This will probably now be a draw, but this is...
What an opportunity.
Not only it's a massive opportunity, it's also, it felt like a free roll. It felt like, why not do that?
Right.
And I couldn't see a downside.
Wow.
Mystifying.
And he has plenty of time also. That's a very strange decision.
Yeah, but for Gukesh, second breath of life there. I want to go back to the game of Wesley So and Alireza. Again, for those of you who are keeping track of what the players need, these two very much in contention, and both players needing a win to get into that playoff hunt. They did go for the line that we were looking at. We were looking at rook a8. The bishop had come back, and then I think we were looking at f5 and king f1 as the most likely. It feels to me like it's easier to play Alireza because you just push the pawns and bring your king to good scores. I'm going to stop because we do have a very special guest in the studio.
Right. We have a player who won 2 games in a row.
Yes.
Very happy, Fabiano Caruana. Welcome back. I'm sure you're very happy about the win today, but was there any moment where today you felt you were in trouble?
Just generally very scared. I didn't see anything clear cut, but maybe he could have thrown a3, a5 in. Maybe that changes something.
Instead of h4?
No, or
we have
like after
position.
b5. Yeah. Also here, I was just wondering if he plays king b1 or something. I was kind of scared in general.
I think with good reason, because the whole lot, there was a very interesting g5, g4 with this idea of he's going to force open the h file. I would have been terrified, Fabi.
Yeah, I don't know why I ran into this prep because I've never played this variation before. Random preparation that I ran into. I mean, it's not a super rare line, but I mean it is pretty unusual.
Right, because if you after King B1, if you do go for this whole Queen B5, he's going to go Queen G2 and H, or never mind taking the pawn. But I mean, again, he opens up the H file. You just you resign, right?
Yeah, the slow attack is very scary. I didn't have anything clearly in mind after King B1, but I didn't see what to do besides G6. So
a good practical decision.
Yeah.
Were you hoping for Bishop G6?
Kind of. I mean, I wasn't entirely sure, but at least I didn't like when I played G6. Of course, Bishop G6 was the main move that I was focused on, and minorly focused on H4, which didn't seem to work, and then.
Why didn't H4 work for you?
Bishop G4.
HG.
Bishop F3.
And we actually have.
I think it's early. No, you need King B1 because Queen takes G5 check is going to annoy us in a lot.
So
of
we
positions.
needed to play King B1, and in case of B5,
or even Knight D6.
But wait, what is the mechanism? Like H4, Bishop G4, H5, Bishop F3. I don't see any.
Queen H2, Bishop
Queen
E2.
H2 and Bishop E2.
Oh, and Knight G7 doesn't like hold things?
Against Knight D6. Yeah.
Okay.
Against B5, Queen G2 is very strong.
Okay.
So just to get our viewers in on the conversation, in case of King B1, Knight G6, so no Knight G7s coming up in the very near future.
Knight G6, Knight G6 I just didn't want to do in general because I thought maybe in some version I want my knight to go to G7.
To go to G7, yeah. And in this case, it's Bishop E2. If the knight was on E8, like you said, Knight G7.
is just Queen G5 is just Bishop H5. Yeah, I just get mated
or
even in
Rook
endgames.
G1.
Rook G1, Queen F5, King A1. I was thinking maybe I have a bit of time to hold.
What we were doing? G4, G6.
But yeah, in any case, it's bad. I mean, that position looks bad.
King B1, Knight D6. You wanted to play B5. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't sure.
I was just thinking Queen G2, by the way, and H4. And
this only helps white, so I don't know if B5 achieves anything besides to tempt him into taking a pawn, which.
So maybe Knight G7 might have been your intention.
No, like I really didn't have an intention.
You're just ready to respond to Bishop takes G6, but after Bishop G6.
I mean, is it dead lost after King B1?
No, but it's.
Borderline.
Problems, problems are quite serious.
So what did I do wrong exactly?
H takes G5 is a mistake.
I should play H5?
Should play
B5 immediately. Just ignore the pawn on G5.
Oh, but I thought that after Bishop takes B5 it was
Knight D6. Then Knight D6 and Knight E4, right?
And then you can take HG actually. When the bishop comes back to D3, now you can take HG because your counterplay is like 3 times as fast.
Yeah, I just thought that after HG in that position, H4, I considered it briefly. I thought like H4, G4, Knight G5 would be a bad position.
Sorry, let me catch up with you. How do I do that, Fabi?
HG5 here.
Okay.
H4, G4, Knight G5. I thought this is
just a bad position for you.
I mean, maybe I'm not like. I thought that I might be just collapsing on the F6 square eventually, like Knight F6, Rook F1, or I don't know which rook. Maybe the other Rook to F1 because I don't think the H file is very relevant anymore. I don't know. I also thought, like, what's the best case for me here? That I don't lose on the spot, and even in the best case, I'm still like equal material.
But you definitely throw in Knight D6.
Okay, so I don't take on G5.
No, you don't take on G5 yet.
Yeah.
No, you go Knight D6. And after Bishop D3, I think it was taking on G5 there.
Okay, maybe.
And now you have Knight E4 against most things, and this seemed to be.
That's a bit of a mess. You can definitely see that.
This seems controllable and quite good for black.
Okay.
Yeah, getting a bit of a mess after G. Sorry, I think we were playing G4, Knight E4. Sorry.
Yeah, here I do gain 2 tempi at the cost of a pawn, so it's
right. Yeah, but in the game, Fabi, things started going your way, and maybe this move was also a little bit
Well, Bishop F5 is the other alternative.
Yes.
And I thought B5, I didn't quite see his
B5?
His way of dealing with the same issue.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe he does have something. I felt like I'm probably safe here, though. Or I mean, as safe as you can be in this position.
So, for example, if we go
H4, yeah, and now I thought Bishop F5, GF.
Yep.
G4.
G4.
Yeah, I close the H file. My king becomes safe-ish.
Safe.
You're just going to keep it on H8?
Yeah, B4, take King H8. I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe he does have some way to continue the initiative, but like maybe rook g5, bc3, bc3. I don't know. It's not. It's definitely not clear cut.
Much more of a contest than the game, because in the game your king became incredibly safe, and we weren't even sure where, because it's at. I mean, even up to this point, I mean, it seemed like he was playing for the win, all in, all in. We weren't even sure what he missed, because after b4, it's now one-way traffic. Now
well, he missed rook h8, and I don't know if that's my only move to survive. I felt like maybe I have some other way, but rook h8 also...
Actually, we want to ask you, did you consider c takes b?
Yeah, queen c8.
Knight c7? It's a crazy computer
Oh, I didn't
line.
see knight, but I was kind of thinking that he always has like mate, like rook h7, rook h1. But maybe in this version,
there's always f5
I can take on
right?
h7, yeah.
f5 check.
Yeah.
No, because I was looking at like knight d6 instead of knight c7, and then, which also has a serious threat. But here I thought that, wait, no, rook h1, yeah, rook h1, rook h7 and rook h1, and now this wins for white. This is why I didn't go for this.
So because you have queen c2 in the end.
Yeah, yeah.
And knight c7 prevents that.
Yeah. So knight c7 I just didn't consider. But also, once I saw rook h8, there was no reason.
Exactly. The crazy part was that it was so frustrating that suddenly you're winning.
Knight comes to b5 and you're checkmate.
like this is sick.
Too complicated.
And then we were trying to include a3 and a5.
Earlier.
But does a3, a5 change something in lines where I have c2? Like that's only
not dramatically. No.
Apparently, it's actually correct not to include it, but for a different reason. Instead of bishop f5, knight h4 saves the game.
He said this after the game. He mentioned knight h4, which I didn't realize that it was quite. It's saving the game for white, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In this position, right? Instead of bishop f5.
Yeah, he actually pointed this out after the game. Knight h4, queen g5, knight f5, take. Knight f6, bishop d7, and rook b8. He said he didn't like this position.
Yeah. And
he can play b3, right?
Yeah. And we think this is why you don't include a3 and a5, because you want to play b3 and not it be weak.
But my king is so safe now. Like, I can put my knight on e4.
Yeah, that's...
And supposedly rook f5 holds.
Okay, so white is still in the trying to hold territory.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, bishop f5 was a blunder. I mean, he did say after the game knight h4. He calculated this line, so I guess there was a bit of bad luck on his end that he just missed rook h8.
Yeah.
Because at first it does look like, his queen and rook are both coming to the attack, but he just can't make anything of it.
Exactly. Yeah, no, your rook h8 was right on point. And Fabi, 2 wins in a row sure changed the entire complexion of the tournament for you. As we look
you're
at your
in clear first now?
Yeah, I know.
You're aware.
I do hope that this game between Alireza and Wesley doesn't go too out of control. Because it can, but it can go out of control in either way.
Right.
True.
Of course, like for me, in general, draws are pretty good.
Are pretty good. We just saw a montage, by the way, of Sinquefield Cup 2014, where you had the streak, and everybody looked so young. Including yourself. Chris Bird, our international arbiter, looked really young.
Including you, Yasser.
No, I haven't changed one bit, by the way. It was
a very long time ago.
It was.
Yeah,
but
feels
it's
like
remarkable.
a distant memory.
Yeah, but it was nice. Fabi, congratulations.
Thank you.
Really, a very, very important victory with 2 games still remaining. Let's look at the game of Alireza. Peter, take it away for us here.
Well, it's been progressing very slowly. We did get to the position after rook eb1. We'll wait until it appears on the screen.
Okay. You were about to tell me what you would like to do, Peter? He didn't
play rook 8, and he made a move I don't quite understand. I don't know what the rook needs to be doing on the c file.
Deep?
Yeah, there is some idea behind it. Of course, Alireza never makes moves which have no idea.
Right.
But I struggle to immediately say what the idea is. Yeah, and now the evaluation hasn't changed all that much, but it feels like it's just sort of a wasted tempo. We haven't really progressed our game plan too far, and white has time. Like, for some reason, there's a suggestion of playing rook a3, maybe with the intention of playing b2, b3, I guess, or maybe even b4, b5, and so on. 9 minutes left for Alireza. An improvement over previous rounds because it's happened now. This is move 29, not move 14, as it happened a couple of days ago. But yeah, it's now maybe actually a bit better for white. In particular, I really like this idea because we do want to play b4. Because if we create a passer on the A file, it will be a very strong passer. Very useful. Yeah, and after f5, the engine throws in g2, g3. I'm not entirely sure why it's important to do that, but we are now ready to play b4. And if the rooks become active, as is always the case in these types of endgames, they look very unclear while the rooks are caged. If they suddenly become free to roam, you know, the position could very easily collapse. If black loses the b7 pawn, the game probably is over. So it's not so easy to play, but the engine, of course, you know, is very sanguine about things like bishop f6, before it goes d4, and maybe this is why the rook is on c8 actually. And we push.
At last, you found a reason.
We found a reason. But you don't have to play. You don't have to play b4. Of course, you can play b3, which is actually stronger because in case of d4, we now have b takes c4, d takes c3, rook takes b7, with the idea of meeting c2 with bishop b3, and we are happily giving up a piece for this in order to get the pawn to a7.
Wait, bishop d4?
Shockingly, it's exactly a very nice spot by Nazi bishop d4, and these are draws. Look at this obvious draw. Yeah. For instance, this is a draw. Black gets to put a queen on the board, but the pawn gets to a7 and will cost you a rook. Actually, it can't even cost you a bishop. It costs you a rook, but the resulting endgame is very safely drawn. This is very, very obviously a draw. Yeah. So obviously none of this is forced. There are plenty of options, like white can play it in a variety of ways. Rook a3 is one of the moves suggested, rook a4 is another. I don't know why it's being made. Maybe king f1, e2 could still be contemplated. Very, very messy endgame. Wesley has a safer clock. Wesley is on 21 minutes currently. They have 11 moves to make. He did play king f1, yeah. He did play king
Wesley.
F1. Yeah. For Alireza, if white doesn't commit to any of the b-pawn pushes, you still have to kind of settle on where your counterplay is. You would assume it has to involve pushing all of your pawns, because what else?
F5,
but
F4.
So far he's been reluctant to do it, and I don't know.
I mean, in those lines that you've been pointing out to us, Peter, where the bishop is hitting the c3 pawn and you're supporting the move d4 so that I can go c3, especially, for example, in a line, with the king on f1. Let me just make a move. Something like that. Well, no, I have to cover c3.
Yeah, you have to cover the pawn first. Yeah.
This is why it was playing rook f5, rook a3.
For some reason, bishop f6 was being played here. I don't know. It's just a pass, I guess.
But e5 now, without your bishop hitting the c3 pawn.
Yeah, that would be.
Now I get to activate
I think this is
rook.
a massive problem. Yeah,
and probably, in fact, it might be just game over. Strangely enough, yikes. So king f1 on the board, and
Alireza down to 7 minutes now.
And
10 moves to go.
With 10 moves to go, yeah. It's a very complicated endgame.
Who would you rather be, knowing the evaluation is close to equal?
Before rook c8 was played, I actually thought it was easier to play Alireza's position because I was playing rook a8, and I felt I knew what I was doing. Now I don't know what I know or don't know.
Because it just looks so
doing.
Beautiful, right? The dark square bishop, all of our pawns on the prescribed light squares. This fantastic knight on d3. But yeah, if the rooks actually start, becoming active, it's
just
anybody's game.
Okay, this is ridiculous. Line, obviously ridiculous. I mean, I need my pawns to be more active. I need my pawns so I'm making some very, very random. But you kind of get the idea of
F6, C3, E5.
Yes.
Gorgeous. This is gorgeous. But
yeah, I kind of knew what I was doing when I played rook a8, and I don't. And that's just playing knight takes b2 before I've even done f5.
Yeah, he's gone f5. Okay, now at least we're getting somewhere. We are making the moves expected to be made.
Okay.
a moment ago we were playing G3, Rook A3, and B3.
In some
Are
order.
we playing for King
I
and
think
B3?
I think the reason we start with G3 is that King E2, you kind of have to consider Knight F4 check, and maybe you'll have to go back, right? Because we probably value the G2 pawn.
Can't afford to give up more pawns.
No, I don't think we can.
Well, if you don't mind, I would make the argument that anytime I get to play Rook takes B7, life is
How are you getting Rook B7?
like something like
B
not in this
Because
position
C3 is still
still.
hanging, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay, let's go here.
K2.
Rook A2. I want to play B3. Your knight isn't on the gorgeous square that it was moment. It's
It
not
can
in
come
its
back
glory.
quickly, though.
Yeah, how?
I mean,
Knight,
F4
knight?
D3, it can be
Okay.
back right there, but
Then I get my
can I defend, though? Let's take and go. Oh, I put it
I
perfectly, so
feel-
now on Rook C7.
Let me show you.
Bishop B8. I just did that
I
perfectly.
feel very mean for a moment here, but I do want to tell you, you do remember this is Wesley's game, right?
He's not sacrificing anything.
The G2 pawn is not,
He's
is not going to
leaving
get
the board.
abandoned
No.
to the wolves.
But you do understand that any Rook B7, you know, if you haven't played G3 and F3,
But even here after B3, I'll take on C3.
okay, give me a
Let's go
different
knight
knight H4. Okay, you take on B3, and
No, I was going to take on C3 right away.
oh, apologies. You're
I'm
going to take on
Rook
C3
C4 also and bring more pieces towards your king.
That actually looks dangerous after Rook B7 because the A pawn becomes a queen so quick, and we don't have a check yet.
I would be with you if your king was on G6 and you could sacrifice a piece, and gosh knows.
I'm walking right into checkmates.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, with the king on G8,
something,
it feels iffy.
Something to consider. King F1, F5 on the board. Is Alireza down to his usual 5 minutes?
6 minutes against 19.
6 minutes, okay.
Yeah.
But he's already at move
30.
30-ish? Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not as bad as the previous 3 games for Alireza.
What price for King E2, Knight F4, King F1, Knight E3?
That's
That can happen,
not,
actually.
yeah, that's not unreasonable. I mean, that's not unreasonable. But
Can Black refuse the draw and keep playing? After King E2, what else could we do?
well, the problem as I see it is that you want to play King D2 and you really want to play B3. And I'm 100% with Peter. The rooks are closed. Look at the rooks. You know, they're biting at the bit, chomping at the bit, sorry. The moment you play Rook takes B7, a whole plethora of potential checkmates just instantly emerge. So I would be very reluctant to, Rook C7, anticipating B3. I'm not.
I don't know.
Don't sign me up for that. I'm not a friend of that kind of position. And Wesley taking his time.
So he's thinking Rook A3 or King E2, right? Those are the
Yes.
two moves we're anticipating.
Exactly.
Yeah. Honestly, G3 is such a machine suggestion. It feels so incongruous with what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah. Right.
I'm completely on the other side.
Yeah, like we're not playing there. We're not afraid of a 4. Like I don't think it. Only if you really want to play King E2 and you absolutely aren't prepared to give up on G2, then maybe the idea occurs to you.
Yeah. How about you, Peter? King E2, Knight F4, King F1. What's your? Is it a flip?
No, I don't think it'll happen. And,
No.
and if it does happen, I think Alireza maybe will start looking for something smarter than Knight D3. Although it's difficult to figure out what that could be. The knight really belongs on D3. Maybe he goes King F8, King F7, and start threatening Rook H8 though.
Right. For those of you joining us late, what does our day look like so far, Nazi?
We had 3 results. 2 games were drawn. Levon and Duda drew quite quickly. Then we had Pragg and Sevian, another draw. And then a big matchup. Fabiano Caruana defeated Nodirbek Abdusattorov and is now in clear first.
With the black pieces, too. That was our second black win, right,
Yes.
Peter? The first.
Bringing the score to 4-2 in White's favor.
Only 2 games remaining.
And this one between Wesley and Alireza was a Donnybrook from the opening. Very big theoretical discussion in an advanced Caro-Kann. Line of the Caro-Kann
double-edged game throughout.
Yeah, there were some sacrifices, knight h5.
Queen d2, I mean, wow.
Alireza started with the exchange sacrifice and c5.
Which I loved.
Not a typical Caro-Kann game at all.
No, but it's been fun. But now, time trouble is beginning to...
He played king e2.
He did?
Yes, it's on the board.
I didn't get an update on my board.
We expect knight f4. Yeah, Alireza is down to 5 minutes now. What else could he do, right? Knight f4 just...
f4.
Or maybe e5.
Or, well, e5's b3.
Yeah,
that's
e5
the big
really
problem.
runs into b3, I feel.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, they're thinking, let's check in on the other game, Gukesh and MVL.
We think Gukesh dodged a massive bullet.
Oh, yeah.
But it was definitely MVL who had been doing a lot of the pressing. They're now in a 4-rook ending, which looks like it's pretty balanced.
Yeah, I think
although I still...
Well, MVL still put in pressure, but...
Yeah, I still like the pressure.
Yeah, there's a bit of a push because...
pass pawn on the queen side, right?
Yeah.
This is a very unusual
way
of taking advantage of the pin. Ouch.
I could easily blunder that away.
Couldn't everybody? I mean, you just defended the pawn on e4.
I was going to suggest king f4. I'm glad I didn't.
King h4 chosen, which is, I think, a sensible idea, reminding black that you also
there
have
is
some
a pawn
weaknesses.
over here. Yeah. And
so he wants to maybe go rook f8, rook h8, and attack h5 pawn?
Yeah, and he's just basically saying, if you do try to go after this pawn, it's going to be
And of course,
costly.
MVL doesn't want to trade e4 pawn for the h5 pawn, because then the g pawn starts running.
Yeah, there you go. I think we're going to be taking a short break here before we come back for a great finish of this round 4 Sinquefield Cup. Don't go away.
We'll be back soon.
Stand by for an historic month at the St. Louis Chess Club, from Garry Kasparov's return to the national championships, as well as a global super tournament. October represents an unprecedented celebration of chess, cementing St. Louis as the chess capital of the United States and a world leader in the game.
This October, the St. Louis Chess Club will unveil an expanded 30,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility featuring a tournament hall, classrooms, a chess-themed restaurant, and cutting-edge broadcast technology, cementing the club's role as the premier global hub for chess.
On October 8th, the reopening kicks off with a 5-day, once-in-a-generation clash between two world champions, Garry Kasparov and Viswanathan Anand. It's a battle for $144,000 in a Chess 960 exhibition match. It's an event that honors chess history while launching a new era in St. Louis.
Starting October 12th, the newly renovated chess club will host one of America's most prestigious tournaments, the U.S. and U.S. Women's Championships. 24 elite players will compete for more than $400,000 in prizes. The opening ceremonies will also honor new inductees into both the U.S. and World Chess Halls of Fame, adding to this historic moment.
The month culminates with the world's top 4 stars, Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru Nakamura, Fabiano Caruana, and world champion Gukesh Dommaraju in the highest-rated tournament of the year, Clutch Chess Champions Showdown. With more than $400,000 in prizes and an innovative escalating scoring format, fans can expect drama until the very last round.
Plan your October around this historic month, coming to you from the newly remodeled St. Louis Chess Club, bringing you the best in chess from the home of chess in America. See you in October.
The The Grand Chess Tour finals are back, and this time the stage is set in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The top 4 players face off in rapid, blitz, and classical showdowns, each move pushing them closer to a share of $350,000 and the ultimate crown. It all comes down to this. The battles are fierce, the stakes are high, and only one will stand as the Grand Chess Tour champion.
Corporate Chess League started in 2018, and we started it because we wanted to get the corporations around St. Louis to get together, casually play chess, and network together. So each corporation has their own team. They bring 4 to 6 people every week, and they play over the board in-person chess.
In our team, for all of us to be here, we don't see each other throughout our week. We work in different departments in different areas. So yeah, I think it's a good thing to hang out with your other peers at the club.
So what myself and my coworkers get out of playing in the Corporate Chess League is camaraderie, getting to hang out with people from work, from different departments, getting to meet people from other companies, learn what they do, and obviously just enjoy the game of chess that we all love.
We have about 10 teams right now. We average 10 to 12 teams every year. So if your corporation is interested, or if you work for a corporation and you're trying to get a team, all you need to do is go to our website, stlouischessclub.org, and all the information is there.
Are you a lady looking to hone your chess skills? Did you play as a girl and want to get back into it? Have you ever wanted to know more about chess but were afraid to ask? Ladies' Night is the perfect opportunity for you to get in the game. It's a special class held every Wednesday night by women, for women, plus St. Louis Chess Club members can attend for free. Whatever your age or skill level, you're welcome at Ladies' Night.
Results. A surprising draw. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Surprising draw. When we left, we really thought the game between Alireza and Wesley was going to be a double-edged affair. Not to be the case.
They repeated the line that Peter was saying, King E2, Knight
just
F4.
the back and forth with the knight and the king. And we were looking at Rook A3, some really beautiful, complex lines, Peter.
Yeah.
And none of it came to be. Oh, my gosh. So a big surprise for us. We thought that a victory for the players were so important. And once again, for those of you, when we went to break, we kind of said, yeah, there was this possibility
There's a chance,
draw. But I thought the position, in this moment, King F2, Knight F4, I thought the positions after King, for example, E2 or D1, I'm not even sure, were fascinating. The idea is, I'm going to sacrifice a pawn for the opportunity of developing my rooks.
Finally, using our rooks.
Oh, at last, blasting open
It's the point of having
the
an
B-file.
extra exchange if you can use the rook.
Yeah, open files, let's go. And it's double-edged. I don't want it. I mean, Wesley didn't want to risk this, but if he didn't want to risk this, Peter, he could certainly have said, okay, I'll play G2, G3, or Rook A3, a combination of those moves, and then playing for B3. And again, we were thinking, great stuff in store.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm already switched
I see that.
to the other game. But yeah, I agree with everything you just said. We were very much looking forward. It was a very unusual, very sharp endgame, which Wesley was also sort of in control on the clock. I think he had about 20 versus 5 for maybe 10 moves to go. And in slight defense of Wesley's decision, I will say that both of us here in the studio, me and Yasser, and I think Nazi was also agreeing with us, but we were very much on the record saying, to begin with, we liked it with black, right? When this endgame appeared, I think the consensus here in the studio was, it's easier to play with black, he would probably pick black in a practical game. So maybe Wesley just thought he was not better at any point in this game and was trying to equalize. This does happen. But yeah, a bit of a regrettable result because he was in our studio either yesterday or the day before yesterday saying that, yeah, the tournament is going excellently well. You know, if only I could win a game of chess, it would be even better.
Right.
And today, I think so far has been his biggest chance.
Yeah.
He was in trouble against Sevian, then he had 2 very correct games of chess in rounds 2 and 3. And today he finally got an unbalanced position. He could play for a win. He actually played very aggressively. I liked his approach. He was doing all the right things. And then when we got to that endgame, he just decided, nah, let's just do
a repetition.
Yeah. From us as viewers, from our point of view as viewers, I think we would have preferred for the game to continue.
Exactly. 4 results thus far, Nazi.
Right, we had 3 draws and only 1 decisive result, but it was a big one. It was Fabiano Caruana taking down Nodirbek, Abdusattorov, and jumping into clear first place. 1 game still going on, but heading towards a draw is Gukesh and MVL, and I think they're maybe repeating right now.
Yeah, this is also over.
Well, that's the quickest day we've had so far.
And it happened very fast because, seriously, that game between Wesley and Alireza, I thought it had so much life left that the draw, right on the break, too. I mean, so we didn't really get a chance to capture that moment. Our apologies for that, as the players have called international arbiter Maya Myers over and said, draw.
Draw.
A very good game by MVL, and we thought he definitely had the better chances. He did, the much better chances. And I think he's going to. I don't think he's really aware that he
seems perfectly content, which to me suggests he doesn't yet realize how much of a chance he missed there.
How good it was.
If only he kept that C-pawn alive.
Yeah, absolutely. But the game for me of the round was definitely Fabi's game. In my opinion, Nodirbek's preparation was extraordinary and original.
Yeah, Fabi was surprised. He was like, this random line, how am I walking into a prep?
And it was great prep. And unfortunately for Nodirbek, he got tempted by bishop takes g6, grabbing a pawn in front of Fabi's king, when he really should have been focused on playing h4, h5, and just opening up the H line. It could have easily been a game that went against Fabi.
Absolutely. We were very concerned for Fabi's future after he played h takes g5, ran into g4 and began thinking. And this is not really a position to begin thinking. It's very, very dangerous. But that's what Fabi does, right? He recollects himself, realizes what happened, puts it behind him, and starts making good moves.
Yeah.
He still needed some help from Nodirbek.
Yeah.
But from the moment Fabi thought for a bit and played g6, I think his play from that moment on was entirely flawless.
Yeah.
Every single decision very much on point. And for Nodirbek, a very poor run continues. He's just not himself here. Decisions. He said that in our studio, that he would very much like for his head to work better. It sounds harsh, but when I'm quoting him, I think I'm allowed to.
Right.
I'm allowed to say.
It brings us up to date. The king h4. We left Gukesh at king h4, and we thought.
MVL decided not to pretend. MVL basically just took on e4 here, and after rook b4, no, he went rook e3, rook b1, rook g3, rook b2, and they very quickly found a way to trade everything and pushed a4, and there's really not very much life left in this position, and not a lot to talk about. Rook
exactly.
ba, rook c5 check, king went to g6, rook a5. This is a very, very clearly drawn position.
And our final standings, Nazi.
Let's take a look after day 4.
It went very fast. It was
very
a quick day with Fabi saying draws are good. Draws are very, very good.
Yeah, he's the only player who had a decisive game. He won, jumps into clear first. Everybody else draws. He would like this to continue.
Yeah, that works for him. If it will work for everybody else. Hello, Maxime. How good was today? Because we thought it went for you very well.
I was doing well, but I couldn't figure out a way to be better. So,
Actually-
although I thought I was,
I was going to ask you if you thought you were better at any moment.
well, I thought I'm slightly better, but it was a pity for me to go this c takes b3, but I assumed I'm better this way. But h4 doesn't work, and rook g8 also is nothing because this bishop comes to f3, king h2.
Why? We were very enthusiastic about your position here, bishop f3 and c3.
I saw c3, but I assumed yes, rook c1 here.
Just c2.
Rook c1, c2.
Yes, king g1.
Rook takes f3 is going to be a problem.
Oh, I missed that.
So you have to start with rook e3 maybe? Rook
So
e3
yeah, probably e5 is first, but it's
King
good
e7,
for...
it's not good.
Yeah.
This is a very, very
Yeah, I
fancy
mean,
hand.
of course, it's this rook takes f3. If I see it, of course,
Yeah, you jump. This was the big moment, and we thought later what you've done. Yeah, okay, you were pushing, but it really out of the opening, you had a very comfortable game. It felt like, even though maybe bishop e3 was a surprise.
Yeah, and somehow I was not sure whether Gukesh was playing for a win.
An
but
unusual
his
treatment.
moves were a bit strange. Like I was, no, I mean at the beginning, yes.
Yes.
It's just a surprise. So this is no. I meant when he went king d2, king e3. I supposed it's trying to keep playing the position, but I felt it's very risky overall, and like I was very surprised when he went b3. I assumed after f5 you just take.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
Yeah, and like knight takes, bishop takes. Could be better for black.
We looked at king d4 here.
No, rook takes. I mean, yeah, bishop takes, king d4, c3. It's probably draw, but rook takes, bishop takes c4.
Oh.
Hello. That's
and
a surprise.
It's still a draw because I have rook f4 check at the end, like rook c4, bishop e6, take everything, and rook f4. But
bishop e6.
Because otherwise, of course, this exchange, if I get king f6 and rook b5, at some point the pawn on b2 is a weakness. It's a bit unpleasant, but this is king c5, rook f5 if we want to.
Nice.
Yeah, but then it's a pity. I mean, I thought there should be something, and knight f5 felt very natural because take. Of course, knight f7 also comes to mind, but bishop f3, knight e5, king e3. I assumed it's like probably drawish but knight f5 felt very strong.
Yeah, we love the move knight f5.
And it's just that I couldn't find the follow-up, even though it was logical. But of course, if you missed...
Rook takes f3.
Yeah, which is not too difficult, to be honest.
Right.
But... Yeah, I mean, I would definitely play this because then with pawn on c2, you know you can never lose anyway.
Sorry to bring up a very sore subject, but you had such a big miss yesterday, such a big slip. How do you recover from that? I mean, what happened?
To be fair, I mean, like sore is a harsh word for like one game of chess.
Of course.
Yeah, but it was unpleasant, of course.
Right.
But I also felt like I didn't make the most of my game also at the early stage. So like it was clear I was not in great shape overall in that game. So it means that draw is, in a way logical, especially after the way I played after time control. But, I just forgot about it and you move on, it's not the first and not the last time.
You're looking forward to the next time you mess up so badly, yeah?
Yeah, like, feels like, at some point in our career, we have more and more of these moments, and they're embarrassing in a way, but, everybody is subject to them.
Absolutely, it's part of the job. If you were going to be a professional chess player, you're just going to have some bad days like that.
But like, of course, if I converted all of my winning positions,
Ooh la la.
yeah. But at the same time, in Bucharest, I converted very well.
Yeah.
And last year in Grand Chess Tour, I was also not converting, so there's a bit of a pattern. Today, I mean, it's unexpected, let's say, that I'm
have such opportunity.
Yeah, but first 2 games with white, of course, stings a bit, but especially because I would be in contention to win the event, and now I have to find some opportunities maybe later in the tournament.
Okay, but hey, it's all about the playoff, Maxime, and good luck in your journey to get there.
Yeah, would need something really special now. It was already needed before the tournament started, but now I think it's extra.
Yeah.
Extra special.
Thank you for joining us, Maxime.
Thank you. And our results for round 4 in the standings.
After round 4, we have Fabiano Caruana in clear first with 3 points. Then 2 players are half point behind him. That's Levon Aronian and Praggnanandhaa. And then again, a huge tie for the 4th place.
Big surprise draw in the game between Alireza and Wesley today, because that game, Peter, it just felt like, it was going to go to an epic finish. We didn't know how it was going to end.
Absolutely, and it looked like both players were very content playing a very sharp position from the get-go.
Right.
Alireza clearly came to play for a win with black, take risks.
Exactly.
And Wesley absolutely picked up the gauntlet in the first half of the game. Actually, for most of the game.
Right.
It was only at the last 5 moves where he suddenly saw this repetition and kind of seized the opportunity to put the game to bed, which was unexpected, I have to say. I felt like it no longer felt like white had really any business being worse. And if you're not worse there, why not just play on?
Yeah. Well, with the round completed, we'll check out our predictions. I was so close today.
Nastia's the happiest of all of us.
I'm not sure what's going on. I was so close. Golly.
And all of them are doing well.
Yeah. Nasi, it was wonderful. Seriously. Peter, thank you so much. Working with you both is just so easy. And thank you to our production team for making it so much fun as well.
There's still 5 rounds to go, yes.
Yes, I know. We can mess up just like Maxime. Thank you for joining us. Tell your friends where you're hanging out. Join us tomorrow, same time, for round 5.
Have a good night.
This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. Any reproduction or distribution of this content without the express written consent of the St. Louis Chess Club is prohibited.